Howdy, folks, and welcome to Mosaic Team 5. This is Alberon RPG, the home of Adventures in Alberon, and a number of other tabletop role-playing games. I am Joe Truff, your Dungeon Master and Game Master for this and most evenings. And joining me, I have Matt, Dan, and Ari. We have Olive, who is still out, unfortunately, and still not feeling well, but I believe in the chat. So, Olive, we hope that you feel better soon. This is our Starfinder original campaign, very space opera, space western, although right now we happen to be on a college campus. But, you okay?
Right.
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh boy. But set very much in the vein of Cowboy Bebop. I'm really sorry, Ari, that's unfortunate.
Gotta get used to that center seat.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that's right. You're not in that. Yeah, so Ari is in a different seat because Olive is not here, and so we've shifted everybody around a little bit. The name tags under the screen's not entirely indicative of who is sitting where.
I'm everyone on this side.
Yeah, you are that side. You're holding it down.
You just play all
So a couple of
characters.
announcements before we get started. First of all, in terms of bits are Twitch's sort of microcurrency. They can help. You can use bits to help Mosaic Team 5 in a variety of ways. Just a few can send a couple new supplies and things of that nature. We actually had Das, who really saved the day by supplying an important weapon during one of our encounters. As you progress with the amount of bits that you donate, there are bigger and bigger rewards, some in real life, some confined mostly to the game. But as you are donating these bits as a thank you, you are also now going to be unlocking emotes related to Mosaic Team 5 at 1,000, and these are cumulative. That's the word, right? So as you donate them, you can donate 1 bit every day. Every little bit helps, no pun intended. But 1,000 of them cumulatively will unlock the Rich Kid Vesson emote. If you've already donated 1,000 bits, you already have access to that. 5,000 will unlock the IDC, the I Don't Care Shade emote. 10K will unlock the Uwu Bubs emote. 25K will unlock the Junk Gibbs emote. And then 50K will unlock the Mood Spice emote. So those things you can use to express things in the actual chat, whenever you feel is appropriate. But those are unlocked as you donate bits. There's also a new channel reward. Hashtag Junkfalls will always be junk. Using your channel points, which are separate and free to use, you can donate to this cause. We're tallying
nice.
that. And at some point in the future, this may or may not have an effect on the game. So that is something else that you can utilize your channel points to. It
Joe,
is
you
limited.
surprised me.
Oh, look at that. The rest of the channel points rewards you've seen have been slightly reformatted, so that way you can use them a little bit easier. You'll notice wheel and woe have been separated to make them a little bit easier to understand. One will grant a small bonus of something nice. Not a bonus. It is a circumstantial nice thing that happens in the game.
Nice.
Same thing with woe. There you go. So yeah, junk files will always be junk.
Hour cooldown?
Yeah, that's
Hate
right.
you.
I thought about, specifically for you, I thought about the fact that you were going to go and immediately jam that button.
God damn it.
Yeah. So, I did put cooldowns in some of those rewards.
Wait, yeah, it's out of stock.
It's for everyone. Communal. Oh.
I have to change that. It's supposed to be roughly three uses per person per session. But anyways, as you donate to
Can't
that
just
particular
spam it.
campaign,
I literally tried.
you're going to be helping Gibbs' grassroots campaign by spreading awareness, and this is going to help me in part measure how much the social media is impacting this campaign. So that is what that channel reward is for. Wheel and Woe, they provide a small bonus of some kind. And then you can also use channel points to decide who is going to read us out at the end of the session. So those are all channel points. Those are accumulated for free as you watch the campaigns that we have here on the channel. AlberonRPG.com has been updated. There are links to a whole bunch of different sessions, highlights, player profiles. There are companies with logos that are now being designed, so those will start being updated, I believe, in 2 weeks. You'll see Jacinto, Scabrat, and a couple other companies with officially put together logos. If you want to send messages to anybody at this group, you can do so at cast@alberonrpg.com, and I'll disseminate those as appropriate. Tomorrow night, we are going to have Adventures in Alberon Session 107, which I believe we're going to have everybody back for the first time in just a minute. So that's going to be really fun. We are going on a shopping trip, and you guys are hanging out in Bricklewart, so that'll be a lot of fun. That's at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night. And then just by following the channel, and we had a couple people follow today, you actually get new emotes as well that are replacing old characters from Adventures in Alberon. So along with the Aka Iu and the Shay Rage, you can now use Eleanor Panache and Oakfield Plant.
Oh,
Sorry,
wait, I think
Oakfeld
I have
Plant.
those.
They're for followers. You have to follow the channel.
You think I'm not following this?
I don't know. You have to keep remaking new accounts because you
Well,
keep
yeah,
locking
but
yourself out.
I have to keep remaking it because it's the only thing
Twitch
that
passwords
I
are
follow.
hard. They're so complex.
Brenna Suck
like-
will be
oh,
coming
there we
as
go.
well the next
Boom.
couple weeks. And then finally, as a final announcement, Sirenscape is what we are using for music, digital sound effects, things of that nature. You'll hear rats squeaking and you'll hear Wild West music, all of that coming from Sirenscape, which is a great digital tool set to use to put some sound into your life. And with that, that brings us to the end of our announcements. Let me jump into our recap. Alrighty.
Oh, that's why.
You alright?
Yeah, my phone's just... It's dying. It's dying
It
fast.
happens sometimes.
It's because it's not connected to the Wi-Fi.
All right. So, Mosaic Team 5. Last we played,
I love this song.
you spoke to Tanya, the peacekeeper, or the lone peacekeeper in Rat King's police station. After having turned in your latest bounty, Gibbs, you were able to roll a really high diplomacy check and learn all about the situation happening in Junk Falls. You heard about Chesterfield, a little bit about maybe some of his abilities and his methodology. You returned to the ship, where Gibbs, you immediately settled into the kind of communal living area. Oh, yeah, right. I can put this up on our combat cam. We also now have a fully painted ship. Look at that.
And watermelon.
Yeah, and watermelon as well. But as you all return to the ship, you spread out a whole bunch of trash and various bags, papers, conglomerations of garbage that you've collected over your journey, and put together a carefully scrawled, somewhat erratically drawn map. Really a battle plan for how to start a grassroots resistance movement to those who would move on your home.
I'd like to call it a gas roots campaign, actually.
Gas routes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not-
Shade. You went into the cockpit mostly to avoid that. Spent a little bit of time interacting with Gibbs, learning about some of her theories and plans alongside Bubs, who initially came in to take his several long-hour shower. As the two of you found some sleep, a little confused over Gibbs' plans, Gibbs, you stayed up. You watched as the clock progressed, the digital numbers changing, first getting larger, then smaller, then larger again. As all of a sudden, light hit, and you had been awake for the entire night, writing articles about rentropy and Junk Falls, and the lack of accessible medical care that your family had. You all right, Dan? Wow, we're having a rough time at the beginning here. You all woke one by one, except for you, Gibbs, having stayed up for the entire night. You immediately noticed, Bubs especially, that Gibbs was a little bit off, having been somewhat sleep deprived. Rapid speech, some erratic behavior. Nevertheless, you let her drive this large rented truck through the streets of Rat King and to the copy center. There, you guys printed out a tremendous number of stickers, something like 10,000 stickers,
Hit for 10,000.
along with 200 different flyers. Dan, you okay? Okay. You just gotta take some laps there. So, you always have some. I feel like at the beginning of every campaign or every session
Something
now,
happens.
Something happens off camera in the front. It's a good tradition.
Yeah, you stripping last time.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that was too very distracting.
That's true. Last time on Adventures. Oh no. So you guys printed out a tremendous number of stickers. You traveled down the streets, and Gibbs, forgetting where you were, you immediately went to the first apartment building, not in Junk Falls, but in Rat King Central. Solicited a child to give many, many stickers to distribute on their paper route as a result of Talon's wheel.
Nice.
And then you semi-broke into somebody's house and gave them very much a Jehovah's Witness treatment in terms of talking about this person that they really didn't have any involvement with.
Yeah, forgot about that.
As soon as they alerted you to the fact that you were in the wrong neighborhood, you all promptly made your way to Junkfall. On your trip, you watched as the sort of ornamental cherry trees drove by. There was more traffic than you remembered as you reached the exit from Route 6. And as you pulled off, there was large numbers of construction vehicles kind of accumulating around one of the 9 Yosoki tenement buildings. There was a lot of Yosoki gathered out, and Gibbs, you watched as the Yosoki, speaking of their home and being displaced, watched their home demolished in front of them. Gibbs, you became aware of the fact that this was likely a result of your article speaking about lack of accessible health care. You followed up on the infosphere and found that Rentropy, the company that had moved into your home, begun to take the various junkyards and transform them into green ornamental spaces. This horrible, picturesque countryside instead of the unique junkyard landscape that it was before. The beautiful, the serene landfill that it once was.
Majestic garbage piles as far as the eye could see.
Feeling guilty and aware that this was certainly a dangerous place to be, with many of the freshy Yosoki clan wandering the streets on the lookout for vandals, as one of their statues had been destroyed.
Also not technically my fault.
You literally ran it over in a truck. It's hard for that to be more your fault. I can't actually think of a way. I just did the same thing at Dan did.
If you were also the sculptor,
Right.
and then you made
Destroyed
it
it during the
intentionally
unveil.
ugly, and then destroyed it.
Well, the sculptor already made it intentionally ugly because it was a statue of Chesterfield.
Regardless, you then turned around, drove right back to Rat King, and went to the Rentropy University campus.
I forgot we did that.
After handing out a bunch of flyers, too.
Yes, you did hand out a couple flyers on your way.
We did.
You managed to talk your way past the security guard, not terribly invested in keeping this campus safe, not a whole bunch of criminals trying to get into Rentropy's campus. You disguised yourself as members of the food program that Chesterfield had pioneered, which seems like maybe an economic tool of control. After talking your way past, with Gibbs, you receiving the most ridiculous ID badge photo of all time, you were able to park your truck within the confines of the university proper. But as your questions began to wander, and your story about working for this company fell apart, first stating that this was your first day, and then stating that you were trying to do something with this delivery that was well above somebody's first day, and then confirming that you had never been to orientation. You were all led to HR, and then stopped, as it seemed you had blown your cover. And it was at this point that a Striker Cat limousine pulled up across the street, blocking the gates that you had progressed through. And that is where we're going to begin for today.
Like intentionally blocking, or it was just pulling up and it's in
You
our
do
way?
not need to roll any kind of check to know that this is intentional. It is almost bracketed by the tall brickwork pillars that hold these little
Okay.
lanterns.
Good to know.
But hang on 1 second here.
The limo.
Okay.
The limo's blocking us.
That's probably more like a tank than a limo.
Right.
It's like one of those H1 Hummers.
Yeah.
But also, probably has weapons attached and
Yeah.
armor siding.
So give me just a second and I'll tell you.
I'm sure someone's decked out an H1 Hummer to have a machine gun or something like that.
So, as you see this limousine pull to a stop, all but one of the doors open up, and you can see 4 Yosoki pile out, body armor. You can see these kind of gray, and one of them actually a tan suit, but all wearing body armor over top. A few of them have cowboy hats, not all. There's a rumble on the ground. You feel in the ground this kind of... And as you turn and look past the limousine, you would see now, to your point, Dan, an actual armored personal carrier. This much more like a tank, and you can actually see on top a 6-barrel rotary gun of some kind. And you hear this kind of as this hatch pops open, and a Yosoki in a green military helmet pops up, manning the gun, And given how you guys are all assembled, points it directly at Shade. Finally, the last door opens up, and you can see this wicked black cowboy boot with a jagged gold spur steps down onto the pavement. And you can see now Gibbs, for the first time in person, Chesterfield freshie, draws themselves out. The boot leading up to matching black suit pants, a vest of similar color over a flawlessly white silk shirt, stretched across a massively strong body that stands taller than any of you. At roughly 6'2" for Yosoki, massive.
Was he always that size?
No. This is quite
He's
unusual.
like about the same height as me,
So yeah, he's about the same height as you. But for Yosoki,
but like
he's
big for
Right.
not big. He's
Like-
twice the size
Yeah.
of almost everybody else.
Yeah, he's
Gibbs
big,
is like 2.5. or
big
something.
Yosoki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As he steps out, even this hover limo noticeably gains a little bit of height off the ground. His weight's so much that it causes the repulsor to fail a little bit. And as the sun hits one of the golden pistols hanging from the black studded belt that he wears, the golden teeth along the right side of his face, his eyes, you notice the eyes especially very different. Yes, he is huge compared to what he once was, but the eyes, they're slightly small and withdrawn for the size of the head. They're not the typical dark eyes of Yosoki either. You can see they're tinged around the edge with crimson. Almost this rabid look to them, but he's calm and measured, and you feel drawn into these eyes almost helplessly.
Probably some.
It's almost like they produce a visual gravity that pulls you in, and it squeezes your heart so that you can't tell if it's beating anymore. And in that rush of adrenaline that shoots through you as you realize that it is, the blood pressure rises in your ears, makes it almost impossible to hear, and as the other Yosoki step aside, Chesterfield takes a step to the left and points into the limo, his eyes to you, Gibbs. You can see the mouth opens, and suddenly it's like the whole world starts breathing again. Bottles. Let's take a ride. And he kind of just turns to the side. You see his arms are almost like pulled up by the musculature. It's uneven, very strong in the chest, not that strong in the back, so his arms are almost always like chicken winging at his chest.
I'm gonna step forward and then sort of turn in front of Shade and like kind of beckon you down and try to stealthily take a weapon. I've got a knife.
So even as you start to try, well, go ahead and make a stealth check.
Which I'll apply my -1 because I'm still tired.
Should I like?
Can you assist me in any way?
Yeah, like can I sleight of hand to try and like shift myself inconspicuously so that my holster is in reach?
You can Well, let's try this, and then
Well,
if
I
this
guess
works,
yeah.
if this works, then potentially we'll see what happens. All right, so stealth.
Sleight of hand? Stealth or
Yeah, I think at
sleight
this
of
point
hand?
I probably would
This
have
for you
my,
is stealth.
my
You're trying to,
hands
like-
up
Alright.
when they pointed the machine gun.
Oh!
Okay. As the door
-1.
opens up and he says, "Let's take a ride," you kind of like take a step back, almost as if you're afraid of this individual. But it's a measured step to put you right in range of where Shade might be able to slip something to you. Shade, go ahead and make a sleight of hand check.
Watch this be a 1.
Oh, fuck.
That'd be amazing.
It's all about balance,
I'm
baby.
like, here you go. Not a 1, but not a natural 20.
Not
16.
a 1 is a good start. You said 16?
16.
Okay. As you begin to move, you said your hands were already up.
Well, I was gonna say
As they go up,
probably
you're just
like.
gonna...
Well, I was saying when they pointed the machine gun at me, I probably would have been like, okay, we can't try to get our way out of this.
And
Raise
so
my hands.
as you start to like move your hand down, you can see the person behind the machine gun just slowly shakes his head no. You see the barrels slowly, and they kind of like move in a circle but don't actually begin to idle yet. You get the sense that pretty much everybody sees you doing this, but certainly Chesterfield, because as you look beyond Gibbs, Chesterfield almost, you did not see him move. Now has a pistol drawn, pointed directly at you, Shade.
Probably like.
I will walk
I'm not going to
forward.
ask again.
Yeah, I'll walk forward. Sorry. And just sort of hop into his ride, trying to act pretty nonchalant about it.
Is there a way that I could try to open... Well, I don't know. I feel like I want to try to open comms so that I could, like, monitor the situation discreetly.
So, interestingly, you cannot force comms open
Right.
to Gibbs.
Yeah.
Well, you can certainly
I could
try. You
probably
can try to hack that.
but yeah.
The other thing to keep in mind, so if
It's gonna
Keep
beep.
had sent the upgraded comms, they're specifically designed to be able to force to people because Spice keeps ignoring him. So you would be able to do that if you had those upgraded comms. However, you cannot force an open channel. So you watch as Gibbs steps in, and then Chesterfield turns, looks at you one more time. He just goes, "Not a good idea." And he takes the gun, holsters it, and steps in. The door shuts. And this limo starts and then drives off down the street. Gibbs with you inside. Give me one moment. We're going to move along with you, Gibbs.
Bub's probably like,
No, he's used to guns at his face.
So, Gibbs. You guys pull off. You can see your friends fading off in the rearview mirror, and as you look, you can see there are 3 other Yosoki that are in this vehicle. A lot of empty room. Only one in the back with you, one in the driver's seat, one in the passenger seat. Your seat is warm, so you would imagine, all the other Yosoki that piled out. This would be a full car. Would it be? Were they in here? But you drive around a corner. You turn left. You slow, you see like a red light ahead of you. And at this point, Chesterfield opens his mouth and says, "Gibbs, I don't recognize the name, but I recognize that bottle. I'll tell you, flat out, I don't really remember you, but I've been told you've been causing some trouble around here, and I did some digging. That bottle of yours, tell me about it."
Well, as you can imagine, like most of the junk of my life, I got it from the junkyard that you've now destroyed.
Destroyed is a strong term. Progress, Gibbs. Progress. It takes some moving on and getting used to, and I heard you moved on. What brought you back?
Just a bounty on Port Recready. Port
Recready.
Yeah, that's the one. You know, we've had so many lately. It's hard to keep track.
So, why start causing all this trouble?
What trouble specifically? Kind of caused a lot of trouble lately, I guess.
It's cute. Giving kids stickers. Having them hand out. But the thing about a revolution, Gibbs, people get hurt. Everybody involved gets hurt. Those cute kids, wouldn't want them to get caught in the crossfire. He turns. But I'll tell you what, that bottle, I think I could use that at some point. But Aklima, she says you need to be around to make it work. That true?
As far as I know, yeah. Truthfully.
He stares at you with those eyes.
as if he's trying to sense your motives.
Truthfully.
It would be easier for me to have you dead.
I can imagine that. Probably be easier for a lot of people.
But we have plans. So this is what's gonna happen. You're gonna leave Rat King, Petrus, the star system, and you're gonna leave now. And when I call, you're gonna come back. At this point, you see the limo start again, and it turns left, kind of drawing along the long line of Yosoki tenement buildings, almost beginning to loop back to where you were.
So I take a sigh, but, before I breathe out, I sort of take a deep breath in, and I want to get a sense of what's happened to Chesterfield. I want to, like, kind of close my eyes looking like I'm in defeat, but really, like, tune in to try and, like, block out the world and hear, like, his heartbeat and kind of just extend my consciousness in the way that telepathy usually works and try to, like...
Okay. Spending some time around Spice and around Vess, seeing the Lashunta telepathy and work, you're trying to make that happen for you. So go ahead, first of all, make a perception check. You're trying to close your eyes, really think and feel what's happening around you.
2 minus 1, but I have a +9, so that would make it an even 10.
Nice. You shut your eyes, and as you listen, you hear the traffic going by, you hear the steady hum of the engine in front of you. Like a bump gets hit, and you hear some rattling. You're aware of the fact that there's certainly reinforced armor in here. Not perfectly fitting, not like manufacturer made. Aside from that, nothing. I mean, you look up, Chesterfield is huge. Physically, there needs to be some kind of genetic modification or possibly even mutation involved. Maybe Chesterfield just was younger than he thought and hit a growth spurt. There are diseases that can cause gigantism. The list just goes on. Hard to tell. You turn the next corner now, going down the short end of the block. And you feel the limousine turn. And for all of you, over the course of this time, maybe no more than 5 minutes. Is there anything that you're doing? You guys are under gun from about 5 of these freshy henchmen, and then a large armored personal carrier, and what is essentially a Browning machine gun, pointed at you, Shade, in particular.
I don't think there's... I would like prep my combat tracking on the gun just in case, but like I'm not gonna make any moves.
Okay. No worries.
I'd probably just do like one of those like hands up whispers. Where do you think they took Gibbs?
I do not know.
Before we pull up,
Sure.
I'm going to ask Chesterfield. I know the threat you're implying, of course. I'm not naive to know that there's not enough room on my ship for the entirety of the Isoki population that I could possibly care about. But the scales are a little too tipped, and I've lost a lot of people. When I left here, there was more than 100, and now my family's been whittled down to just the handful. I came back, and I've seen the devastation you've already left behind, and I believe that I could survive the devastation you'll wreak here. I'm not gonna guarantee I'll come back unless you tell me what you want with me and what you want here, and maybe a little bit about who Aklima is.
Make a diplomacy check.
Sure. Alright. 16 minus 1 is 15, plus 7 is 22.
22?
Yeah, right?
Okay, not bad.
Dang.
Is it
Not
math school?
bad.
Yeah, it's charisma stat.
You can see the driver turns around. You can see in the rearview mirror the eyes look up. You can see Chesterfield looks up and just kind of shakes his head no. And so rather than being thrown out of a moving vehicle, the limo comes to a stop. Directly back in front of the gates, you see pulls up. And as the door unlocks, Chesterfield says, "You don't need to know what my plans are. Aklima's a scientist, and if she says it's progress we're after, that's all you need to know, Gibbs. You got 1 hour, and then I want you off this planet." The door opens, and you can all see Gibbs.
Unharmed?
Unharmed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna jingle the keys to the U-Haul that I have. Be like, let's go, boys.
Like, look around with it. Start moving, see if they're gonna do anything.
As soon as the door opens up and Gibbs is able to get out, you can see the guns relax a little bit. They don't go down.
All right.
But they definitely relax a little bit.
Just gonna walk over to Gibbs.
Okay.
Yeah.
We hop in the car.
Are you?
Like I'm moving towards the car to like
All right.
I'll hold doors open for you because I'm very polite. But I'm gonna do this with a little bit of like nonchalantedness, really like heart in my heart, where it's like kill my family, I don't care, you know. I do care, but
You're bluffing.
I guess I'm bluffing.
Big bluffing.
Make a bluff check
Yep.
if you want to. If you're trying to leave that impression.
Yeah. That one. I
You
do
just care too much.
I do care. I do. It's a Gibbs.
You all
Gibbs
watch
fault.
as Gibbs begins to walk over. You see the whiskers trembling. You see just not a composed Yosoki is
I'd
Gibbs.
probably go up and be like, Gibbs, are you okay? You are uninjured.
Uninjured.
That
It's
was
just kind of like,
We'll talk in the car. Come on.
something.
Our
Get in
car's
the
parked
car.
in. Oh, we're in Racky. Fuck.
yeah, we're in Rat King,
Which is 45 minutes from. Wait.
close to
I'm gonna drive to our plane. Our
our
ship.
ship.
Okay.
We get in the car. Start driving.
Okay, no problem. You get in the car and you start driving.
Did I put the motorcycle in the back?
So interestingly,
I think you did.
as you guys are all getting in the truck,
I was gonna.
the henchmen get in the limousine. The limousine pulls out. The APC is the last thing to leave.
Okay.
As this is happening, the APC very pointedly, it seems almost certainly directed at you intentionally the entire time. This APC backs up. You hear the little beep, beep.
It's gonna crush the.
And it doesn't crush the bike. It hits it just hard enough to knock it over and crumple in the side panel just a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And then it takes off and continues down the street
It's a
following
good thing I
Chesterfield's
paid
limo.
the deposit on the rental thing.
Yeah. So
It doesn't affect me. But yeah, I'd probably get on the bike because I'm not gonna just leave it. But you're probably not good to drive, so maybe I'd load it into the back and drive, or offer to.
It's not far though. We gotta go like 5 seconds away.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go to the ship dock as fast as I can.
sure.
Definitely betraying whatever composure I had is the speed of which I am driving us to.
Also
The
tired.
Yes.
Also
And
sad.
having just been driven by Adam Danger Susan Price, this is a much quicker trip than you were taking. So Bubs, his first ever drive was going well under the speed limit the entire time. Gibbs, you were basically doing the reverse of that. You're taking the amount that Bubs was driving and adding that to the speed limit. So you tear down the highway. You dodge many of these.
To the highway? Do we have to go to the highway to get to the dock? I'm only going to the ship,
If you're going straight to the ship, then I mean
not to Junk Fall.
So you guys are
in
okay,
Rat-
yeah, no
Yeah, I thought
problem.
we were
Is
going
it
to
like-
Oh, then you guys can
We're
get there
at-
in like
we're like
5
across
5
the
minutes,
street,
no problem.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like a couple blocks
It's
away.
really easy.
Yeah.
You slam on the gas, pull out, and then bang a U-turn, turn right, go about a minute down the street, and you are at Rat King Central Spaceport.
Great. Guys, we gotta get in the car I'm gonna say this while we're driving, the 2 minutes. We're gonna get in the space
this
car. We're gonna go to Junk Fall. Stop there for 30 minutes tops. Drive the ship from Junk Fall to thing. I'm gonna trust on your piloting, Shade. There's no landing port in Junk Fall specifically.
Whoa.
We've got an hour deadline
Will
before
that
Chesterfield kills somebody.
Raise suspicion.
It's all well within the realms he's given me.
What happened
But-
on that ride?
If we do not have an official spaceport to land, then that will.
There's a roof on an apartment building.
So
We've landed on buildings before.
the only tenement building in this entire place with a space inside of it big enough to land would be you could land it on the junk heap in the middle of this building because it's set up like walled apartments and then the courtyard in the middle. You could land on the big junk heap in the courtyard. This ship, you are uncertain exactly if it will fit, but looking at it, you're like, yeah, I could probably fit this in that. It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be a little tight, but you could, you're a good pilot. I never even thought about that. That's great.
Get in the car. Get in the space. We're gonna go to the spaceport right now. And I tell you what Chesterfield said. Basically, we have an hour to get off this planet, or he's threatening my family, which is a threat I take seriously. He already has Dust in tow. So I have maybe 15 minutes to explain everything to Tobin before we have to do it over the internet, which I'm not sure I trust entirely. So
Why did he not just outright kill you?
oh, because I'm important and special.
That's kind of strange.
Yeah, it's super strange. It's not a Yosoki trait I would usually pick out of a box, but my magical jar is in fact magical, but it's only ever been magical for me. The healing abilities you've seen me do, or the head imploding, all comes from my jar. And when we found it, I've told you guys about Scavenger's Law before. So when we found it, it could have gone to anybody because I knew it was special because I healed. There was a avalanche of junk that landed on Tobin and Wicket, and in that moment when they were hurt, I was able to heal because I had just found this jar. And so when we brought it back and explained it, everyone tried to use it for what it is, and it seemed to only work for me.
And that is relevant to Chesterfield because he
wants the jar, but Aklama told him that I have to come with it, which is true as far as I know, but also very convenient in keeping me alive specifically, but it does not help my expendable family.
It also means that Rentropy is already aware of your abilities.
Everyone's aware of it. It was not hidden knowledge. There's no reason for me to ever hide it.
No, but this confirms that Rentropy knows probably everything about all of us that they could possibly know.
And about this point, you guys pull into the spaceport proper.
Yeah, but you also told me that the website that they were running was really secure. And so, to be honest, they could have hacked Mosaic's files. They could have seen a video of me doing it. I mean, it's not ever something I've been anything but proud of.
Which is all fine. I'm more concerned about the fact that we have put ourselves in direct line of sight of a very concerning organization.
That's probably true, but I was planning on doing this anyways, but Rentropy's kind of jumped the gun on everything. They read my article and they destroyed that building, and so the consequences are coming a lot faster. So I've got 50 minutes to protect the people who have to stay here. I don't think I could either convince them to come with us or that it would be safe if they were to. It doesn't solve the problem.
Yes, the problem seems to be a more long-term issue.
Right. So
I will get there as quickly as I can.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go towards the cockpit.
No problem. So returning at this point, you do notice...
I'll join you.
As you get your way over to the cockpit proper, or not to the cockpit, but you pull up to your actual ship. Mm-hmm. You would notice that there is a parcel at the ramp that has been delivered. You can see from the outside, similar to Amazon, Mosaic uses very recognizable packaging, white packaging, and then like the almost like blue tile look behind our logo. It's like that for the tape around it. You can see like the little label there. It's for Mosaic Team 5, and you can see it has been sent from Peep. Oops.
I will chuck it to Bubs or kick it to him as I scamper my way through the ramp.
Sure.
No, I got it. Don't worry.
You got it.
So you make your way up the ramp. For you, Shade, you get up into the cockpit.
Any sign of Spice or Vest?
You see Spice's boots as you walk up, and so definitely she's here somewhere.
Okay.
I'm probably going to go around and just clean up the little bit of dust around her boots.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah.
You hear the toilet flush and then a groan.
All right, so everyone's on board. We're not abandoning anyone.
No.
Okay. All right, then I'm preparing for takeoff, and
no problem.
full speed ahead to get to Junk Falls and try to find a spot to land.
While we're in the cockpit, I'm gonna try to open up this package.
Okay, yeah, it's easy to open. You open up this parcel. So there's a few things in this. Give me one moment here. The first thing that you pull out, and just for reference, in terms of like the size of this box, this is a pretty big box. When you think about the size of it, I guess you could think of it in terms of the size of like a God, I can't. I'm like trying to look around for something that would be a suitable size.
The size of an average-sized cardboard box.
Yeah, no, bigger than that. No. We're talking.
TV.
We're talking about this big.
Like a washing machine?
Yeah, it's a little smaller than a washing machine, but
Like
it can
a-
fit inside.
Dehumidifier.
Yeah, there you go. So it's a relatively large cardboard box, and as you open it up, the first thing that you pull out, tucked neatly in, you can see all the little rotors tucked up on top. There's a drone. And I would say probably Shade, you've seen these before. This is a one-use drone. And specifically, this is a Mosaic design. Give me just one second here. Alrighty. So, this drone goes by the designation SUSDA, which stands for Single-Use Surface Design Automaton.
Sudza!
Yeah. And, you take a look at it and these are basically used. There's a little interface on this, and you can actually see like a slight backlighting, and you can activate it. But there is probably pre-programmed a pattern, colors, things of that nature. And should you turn this on outside of your ship, it will apply a pre-programmed series of paints and other decals, things of that nature, to create a design. Typically, it's loaded with a cartridge. It's a one-shot use. Mosaic's models, technically, you could reprogram. They are lightly locked into this color scheme, but you could modify it, certainly. The other thing, as soon as you kind of pull this out and set it aside, Bubs, you can see an actual, honest-to-God ship transponder size for this ship. And there is a little note. You can see in Peep's handwriting, it says, "Please don't reprogram this. This is set to Mosaic Shuttle 5. I was just nervous with all of you wandering around. I don't know how you managed to avoid issues so far, but this is an official Mosaic transponder. Please do not change it."
I'd probably read that note aloud to everyone.
Can I work out a way to maintain our sort of unofficial, we'll say, non-business transponder and our Mosaic Team
Your
5?
off-hours transponder. You
For when
certainly
we
can.
want to do more nefarious things that do not want to be traced back to Mosaic.
You certainly can.
Okay.
And it's as easy as just turning one off, turning the other on.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Now you're driving for Lyft. Now you're driving for Uber.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So no problem.
Now you're
for
driving
you,
for the
Shade.
mob.
In just shy of 10 minutes, you make your way over across the city of Rat King, watching the skyscrapers disappear below you. You go over the little river that separates Rat King from the everything else to the north. You see the highway wind underneath you. You kind of follow it over, and then you can see the wrecked elements of this one building, and then the one Yosoki tenement that has a relatively open, though junk-filled center.
That's the one. That's my house. Can you park there, please?
Go ahead and make a piloting check. This is going to be tight.
Can I help him?
How are you going
This
to
is
help?
this is
Can I
the
drive
best.
the back?
This is the
thruster?
best location
Nope.
to.
Okay.
This is the best location to land anywhere nearby.
So, looking around, you could certainly try to balance the ship on a corner of any one of these tenement buildings.
But
balance is the key word. This is a space that could accommodate it. You could.
I probably would
It
want to
wouldn't fit in the avenues between the actual buildings. You could park on the outskirts and walk in. But as the Scab Rat's particular building is centrally located, it would be it's time.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I would probably just like hover, like just above the.
Oh, if you can
the
hover,
garbage
hover's
pile.
fine.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I would land, but like not fully land because I don't know how stable the
good
junk
idea.
pile
That's
is.
fair,
you
yeah.
know?
So you kind of sit in the cockpit, maintaining an even heading.
All right.
As this is going on, I'm gonna just say to Gibbs, Gibbs, how are we doing for time?
24.
24.
40
no
minutes.
problem.
I'm gonna go to the back hatch thingy.
Okay.
I don't know
I'll
where
probably
that
go
is.
with her.
Release the hatch.
Yeah.
Sure. Kind of settles down. You can already see as you turn through Nine and Tobin kind of gathering up. A few other Yosoki hustling up to meet you.
I'm just gonna hop down, like scrambling over the kind of opening ramp, just drop down, start pulling out of my pocket the thing, and just kind of look at Tobin and Nine and be like, I made everything worse, so I'm here. Here's what my thought was, but I'm probably wrong in a lot of ways, and so I'll expect your feedback, but also you guys are in probably more danger than if I hadn't just stuck my big old nose in. Sorry.
You can see at this point, Hoagie actually walks up, the big Yosoki, the many piercings shaped to look like screws and little snakes, and he's holding a box of pizza. He has pizza in his mouth, and he kind of offers the box over, and he just goes, Gibbs, somebody sent us pizza.
Did someone send us pizza?
No.
I got so excited.
But feel free to do so by
Can I-
donating 30 bits.
Sniff it for poison as quickly as I can.
Yeah, you make a perception check.
Slap the pizza out of his hand.
Yeah, I will. If it's poison.
Don't eat that!
So 12 plus 9 is
21.
21 minus 1 is
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
You bend down, you smell garlic and parmesan and various bits of oregano. And as you look at the cover of the box, kind of closing it, across the top you see in black Sharpie, hashtag JWABJ, aka junk falls will always be junk.
Okay. So I lay out the same kind of diagram I showed everyone before, and I was like, so I had this plan, I had this thought, that if we could convince everyone because Chesterfield's dealing with people, and I slow down a little bit, and I'm like, Chesterfield, have you guys seen him since?
Tobin nods and just goes, yeah, he's changed a lot.
Yeah, I guess I didn't take that lightly. I thought it was going to be more like an emo haircut or one of those, like, teen things you go through when you're, like, 6 or so. No, he's scary, and I've met him, and he knows I was here, and, I posted an article about the medical care here. I guess I didn't do enough research realizing that this was an actual concern of people, but their holdup was the housing, and my article really started the fire for Rentropy to not acknowledge the original issues of the housing. So I woke up this morning and they knocked down a tenement building. Did that family come of 12?
You kind of look around, and even as you mentioned that, across the yard, in the corner underneath, like the right thruster of your ship, you see this little old Yosoki who just kind of like waves from far away, the pruny hand. But yes, they did come. And Tobin says, yeah, I wish you'd kind of given us more of a heads up than just that text 2 seconds before.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's maybe 12 people that have shown up since then.
So
That was you?
Yeah, I started this campaign about junk falls will always be junk. I really thought if we could undermine Chesterfield's authority to sell or people's desire to buy, then we could save the home. But it's bigger than that. They're smarter and faster, and they've got more resources. And so I knew from the beginning it was going to be a tough fight, and even more so now that I've met Chesterfield and I've seen what he is, what he's become. You know, I kind of want to believe it's not what he is, but maybe it is. So it's a moot point at this point. But anyways, so I started this campaign. I thought if we could get the word out outside of our ecosystem, then people would care about your pain and everything that's happening here and the injustice. But we're fighting against not just Chesterfield, it's Rentropy. And Rentropy is not just a nonprofit, I think at this point we've all established. So I don't actually know what we're fighting against. But I'm committed to making this work, but I can't stay here without you guys being in even more danger than you were when I first showed up.
At that, you can see everybody else kind of nodding and saying yes, but for Tobin in particular, you can see Tobin's ears just go down a little bit, almost imperceptibly, and she steps up and just goes, Gibbs, you're leaving again?
I wanted to stay longer, and I wanted to what Nine said really, I felt it, and I felt it hard. But I do have a debt to Mosaic, and if I stay here, Chesterfield will kill you all. Because he thinks I've got some power, and I point to the jar on my back, and he wants it to be convenient for him. And so I thought I could hide my presence here a little longer, but I made a mistake, and I was careless and clumsy, and I'm really sorry.
You can see Tobin, like, everybody begins to kind of talk, and you can, at once, everybody begins to discuss different things, but Tobin in particular steps up to you and says, what does he want with your bottle?
Yeah, I imagine he collects goons, or Aklama wants it, actually, not maybe necessarily him entirely. And she's a scientist, so it's all part of this, whatever Rentropy is doing under the guise of good science is probably not what it actually is. So it might not even just be him more so than it is Aklama herself.
I don't know a whole lot about the Drow, but I know a lot of people don't trust the Imperium. There might be something to that, Gibbs. And you can see at this point, Nine leans in and she says, honestly, Gibbs, I think that this was a time that this was something that needed to happen. But we need weapons.
I know, and I was thinking about that, and we have Chip and Crumb, but something they said makes me wary of them. And so wherever we're gonna buy the weapons from, we need credits, and I'm currently, unless you've got another source, the only person with a job that could pay us. And you know that whatever I get would come right here.
So they all look around. Hoagie just like offers the pizza. You can see like Nine reaches into these little they're almost like denim cargo pants, essentially, kind of like hobbled together a little bit, and all the patches over where they've worn away over the years. But she pulls out like a little cred stick. A few others do. We don't have much, but we'd give whatever we do have.
And I think that's all we can ask for, but I think more than that, you guys need to talk to your neighbors. There's other people that are unhappy. This can't be an isolated thing. You need to echo it. You need to, and I'm going to give them the stickers, and I'm going to give them the pamphlets, and I'm going to say, these are what got me in trouble. I talked to the wrong people, so you're going to have discretion, but we'll coordinate as much as we can online. There's a whole world out there that could care about this, and people donate money to stupidest things. I saw somebody donated money for potato salad. Did you see that?
No.
30,000 credits to make potato salad.
Potato salad?
Yeah, it's a real thing. You can infosphere it. So if enough people cared, credits might come in, but we've got to get people to care. You've got to document. You've got to post about it, but try not to put yourself right in the line of danger, and I don't know how to protect you. I'm not good at the computer stuff.
Well, I wish Dust was here.
Me too.
Well, we can do what we can with the neighbors. I don't know, Odora maybe can try to figure out some other way to get guns. She has a weapon, but she's the only one. I don't know, Gibbs.
I know. And I wouldn't fault you if you stayed quiet and just tried to survive for as long as you have. There's no pressure to do this. It's putting a target on your back more so than you already have by denying whatever Chesterfield's already asked of you. And so I just hate to see you not hope.
At this point, Wicket, who hasn't really spoken very much, dirty white Yosoki, yellowish fur around one eye, you can see they walk up a little bit and almost bristling at that. This is one of the older Yosoki from this group. But he says, we can't continue things the way that they are. We're going to lose our home. Even before you came back. We'll try. But we do need more help.
And if it's too much, if it's not worth it anymore, if you can't feel the heartbeat of the home we once had, and you guys just want to stay together and live, I think we've got a ship. We'll do whatever we can to relocate you. People have done it successfully. And so it probably wouldn't be easy to be migrant nomads, but at least you might be alive. And so you've got options. And whatever option collectively the Scab Rats pick, I'll be there.
Make a diplomacy check.
Eight plus 7 is 15 minus 1 is 14.
Tobin steps back up and says, well, we have a lot to talk about and think about.
Absolutely.
You said we can coordinate a little bit more online.
You've got the communicator.
Holds it up. You can already see like a big crack down the middle of it.
Absolutely, yeah. I got your butt picture. Butt selfie.
Good.
Yeah. So maybe at some point we'll think about a better way to do that, but for now, yeah, just text me. I'm adrift away.
Just as a starting point, we need some way to get rid of these tanks. That's really important. They have at least 3 of them, and I think that might be what they're using dust for, is to improve them or fix them.
That's probably true. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go to. I'll say it really quietly, just to Tobin. I'm gonna go to Duradan next.
Dorado?
Dorado.
Fuck. I'm not good with this.
Duradan.
Duradan.
I love Duradan. That's a great word. I'm going to use that
Duradan.
for something.
I'm Dirty Dan.
Duradan.
Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna go to Dorado next. And I'll keep my ear to the ground about anything, but I don't know what beats tanks in rock, paper, scissors, so I gotta figure that one out first.
At this, Tobin nods and says, like you said, we can keep talking about it. Chip and Crumbs is a good idea, though. I think that if you do go back, they're in the Eclipse Mall, right? If you go back there, see if you can become more sure about them. That would be helpful.
Yeah, I don't know. Chesterfield was all about progress, and the first time I mentioned them, they said that I was anti-progress, which I don't think is true, but maybe a fine way to categorize me, I guess. So I just want to make sure that their progress is the same as what I want ours to be.
Tobin, you leaning into Tobin at this, Tobin looks around and says, Gibbs, you've always been really dirty. That's not wrong. You don't need to make progress. You don't need to change from that. But sometimes you're really dirty, Gibbs.
I know, and sometimes I accomplish a lot when I'm not. But it just doesn't feel as good.
I think that's what they might have meant. That's a different kind of progress than what Rentropy is doing.
I'll send them an email and I'll let you know. But they've sold us stolen supplies before, and those come with a lot of risk, but we have a really great place to put them with less risk. I mean, we'll see. So, they're family.
Tobin looks past your shoulder up at this ship that is hovering above this junk heap.
I'm probably like on the cargo bay watching this a little bit. Yeah.
And Tobin is going to nod and say, speaking of which, what kind of ship is that?
It's this weird one we got from the stocking bay when we blew up this place that I forget the name of.
Way Station El Paso.
When we blew up Way Station El Paso. It's like a not modeled ship, I think.
You blew up Way Station El Paso?
Collectively, I was there. Was it exactly my fault? No. But
Gibbs, they're saying it was a terrorist.
Well, okay. The guy was holding a nanobomb, and I killed him, and he dropped it.
Okay, I guess that's better.
Right. So it's a one step removed from, like, I didn't actually blow up Way Station El Paso, but we've gotten a lot of debt from it because we also lost our ship. So that's part of the reason I have to finish my contract with Mosaic is I can't give you credits if I owe people credits, and also I'm not making any credits.
That's a really big deal, Gibbs. You blew up a space
I
station.
didn't actually blow it up, but everyone's been blaming us for it lately, so I feel like I should just own it.
Where did that guy get his bomb? Could you get something like that again?
That's a good point. I know a guy, actually. Let me get back to you on that.
Okay.
But that's a good point. That would certainly blow up his tank. But maybe everything else in the plot process. I don't know. I'll think about it. I have to go. I've got 2 minutes left.
Very, very short.
So I'm going to reach over and give 9 a hug, and then give Tobin a hug, and then as I pull back, I'm going to snip the whiskers on the left side of his face with my teeth, and just hold them in my mouth and be like, thanks, and scamper back onto the ship.
Okay. You can see Tobin spins a little with the force of it, but you scamper back up onto the ship. Bubs, you have to move aside.
Yeah.
As Gibbs four-leggedly kind of like crawls up the gangplank. Mm-hmm. But you guys all back together.
All right, let's go, Shade. I'm going to uncork my bottle and spit the whiskers into my bottle from home and cork it, and then wave to my family as we...
They just hit the bottom, no real fluid. They just kind of lay there. But you wave to your family as the docking bay, or not the docking bay, the ramp slowly closes. And Shade, if you want, you could take everybody out into the darkness of space.
Yeah, I'm going to take off.
Gibbs.
Setting course for Dorado.
Sure.
I keep calling it.
Well, we still have a day off.
We do still have a day off,
Yeah,
so we
it's
could go
only-
to...
it's
All right, so I would probably just like exit
Small.
the
I think it takes 2
atmosphere,
days to get there.
entering
One
the
day
stratosphere
Ooh,
to like.
really?
But it's one day there and one day elsewhere, you know.
Oh,
So I would probably like just exit the atmosphere so we're out of their
Yeah.
the range of doom, I guess,
The range of doom.
and then we can like converge and figure out our next moves.
No problem.
Gibbs, are you okay?
There's been a few places we've left a wake of destruction from, and it never feels good, and this one especially doesn't as well.
Oh, if it makes any difference, your heart was in the right place.
I don't know if it always does, but I appreciate it. And I'm gonna reach out and touch Bubs. And this time, because now I'm out of my own sort of mental thing.
Gubs.
I'm gonna sort of expecting it, tune in, and see if I feel that same cold sensation I felt in the carnival.
Sure. As you reach out to touch Bubs, there is certainly, almost a certain point, it feels like you're reaching through a field. And there is that chill. And as you reach through, you see your fur very visibly move, as if scraping across something like fabric. And as you pull your hand back, feels normal. A little tingly.
Do I think it is... You know what? I'm gonna let it be, actually.
All right. Whoop. Virus and threat protection, everybody.
What's up, Peep?
Thanks, Bubs. I appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime.
And I knew I kind of blew off what you said earlier, and I appreciate those words too, but I hope you know that you don't have to be envious of my family, because we're starting to build that with you too.
Oh,
And you'll get there someday. You might not feel it yet. It takes a while to learn to be loved, as much as it takes a while to learn to love. So,
I have to say, you're right. I've learned so much just being around you guys. When I was with Steele, he would never even let me out of the house except to go on bounties with him. And I mean, I've done so much. I've gone on dates. I've driven a car. I feel like I'm living my life, and maybe I don't have to hide anymore.
I don't want to encourage you not to hide if you're really in as much danger as you told us that one time.
But But Gibbs, they saw me on, JT's Roundup or TJ's, and I mean, if they wanted to come after me, they probably would have. And I just don't want to hide anymore. I want to be free. I've missed so much of my life, Gibbs.
The thing about animals, though, especially smart ones, is that they know to wait and lay in wait to have traps, and so that's the only thing I'm worried about. But you guys have taken on a lot of my trouble, and so I think Gibbs or Bubs, you being free and happy is worth whatever trouble will bring. So do it. Why not? Just tell us, and we'll be there.
And maybe we'll be somewhere fun again, like a carnival, like we did this time. That was so much fun. Oh my god.
That was fun. Did you see me on the trapeze? I know I fell.
I did. Oh my goodness. Can I have your autograph for my wall or something?
Sure. I'll doodle on your wall any day now that you've asked me to.
Oh, that's different than doodling.
Nope.
It's more
Hey,
like
Shay,
organized in a frame.
Nice to see you. Glad you're driving. Where are we going?
I was going to disembark towards Dorado.
Get there a day early. People would be happy.
Yes, we can still enjoy our day off, but as soon as we get there, we will not have to travel. So
Maybe
if
I'm gonna
anything happens
infosphere
prior,
Dorado. Is it peachy palm trees and blue skies, or?
So even make a culture check. We'll see how deep we can get into it.
Oh, I just want a Wikipedia image.
Yeah, but the very, very basic things that you do find out about Dorado, it's a terrestrial planet, not a whole lot of water, very rocky. You would know there's certainly life, and there are certainly elements of an ecosystem and things of that nature. 25. But with the 25, there are primarily 3 gigantic, what are they called? Cities. Interestingly, Dorado is a Shiren planet. And so these cities are sort of like semi-organic structures in the way that they are designed. They are not organic in nature. They're built, but when you look at them, they do look almost coral-like in ways, and they rise up quite high. The structures are huge, and they get wider towards the top, which is very unusual for most architecture. Part of that is owing to the slightly lessened gravity of this world at about 0.8% of what we would consider 1G. What else do you want to know about it? That's a good roll.
Fuck it, Gibbs doesn't care. Gibbs wants to know what is the local cuisine.
Sure. Heavily insect and plant-based. And there's a lot of
drool.
Yeah. So for you, Gibbs, the food here, for most people, for Shiren, Shiren is like, so in natural Shiren stuff, there is there's a pre-digestion that needs to occur, and it occurs within the Shiren's mouth. So when there's cuisine that has been artificially occurs, everything is either pickled, otherwise deglaze. There's a lot of vinegar featured in their food, and then that is sort of pumped into plant matter, bug matter, things of that nature. So not terribly tasty. A lot of kimchi tasting things. So depending on what your palate is, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
And then I just want to know, because I don't think Peep told us, is there a specific city that is the biggest? Or actually, we're going to deal with the Jade Brigade, so I guess I'll Google which city Jade Brigade's currently in.
Yeah, so infosphering that would be really easy to find out. Give me just one second here. I just want to pull up my Dorado. So, immediately you find out tons more information about this. There is news articles. When you go to Google News and you see all the common things, that pops up right at the top of your infosphere search. There's tons of articles. So first of all, with that roll, 2 or 3 weeks ago, the Jade Brigade hit a let me find the planet name. It's called CGS is the name of the company.
Mm-hmm.
And that stands for... It is a Shiran name. It's Chichawik Genetic Solutions.
Oh, yes.
And Chichawik Genetic Solutions typically works in, plant modification. They create, disease and weather-resistant crops, stuff of that nature. They also work in animal genetic modification. So specifically, a lot of agriculture-based things. They are well known for trying to produce some cold weather. Basically, it's a gene therapy that can create Shiran that are able to work in cold weather better. So far, no real success. However, in this heist, there was a miniaturized genetic laboratory that was stolen by the Jade Brigade. And that is something that certainly piques your interest, especially after already having talked about Chesterfield and these changes in him. This definitely jumps out at you.
And also, Rentropy's bullshit with genetics, but they're doing, like, plant crap. They're doing, like,
Decorative plants.
Stupid plants.
Nothing wrong with some decorative plants.
No.
So, you find out that. That's like the first article that comes up. The second thing that comes up is that they have now, seemingly, taken over the 19th floor of the CGS skyscraper, or it's a skyscraper that CGS owns several floors in.
Right.
This is within the primary city in Dorado. They're not at the CGS floors yet. They've kind of barricaded the 19th floor. It's a telemarketing company, if that matters to Gibbs. And they have currently barricaded that. The Dorado police have cordoned off several blocks around the building. It seems as if they're unable to get police in or peacekeepers in. There's I can't remember, Hive Guard is what they're called, but they're unable to get in due to there's hostages that have been kept, and then there are people on the 19th floor and above. So there are 6 floors worth of businesses, people, things of that nature that are to be taken into account. The news articles that you click on do say that other bounty hunters have been dispatched into the building. Nobody has returned. 3 people, if that matters.
Right. I share all of that, sort of lazily reading it out loud, like the world's worst podcast.
Sure.
But I feel my eyes kind of drooping as I get to the end of it. I think I'm going to take a nap and then
That would be advisable.
deal with this a little later.
You should rest. It's been what I can only imagine is a long and emotional day for you.
Thanks, Shade. Appreciate you being there.
I'm sorry that I was not more effective in helping the situation.
I'm sorry I was so ineffective at dealing with the situation.
Well, as I feared, Rentropy is a very formidable adversary to attempt to take on.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to keep finding the dotted lines between Rentropy and whatever their parent organization is, and all of these bounties. Maybe I'll get enough information to figure it out, but if you ever think I'm misguided in what I'm doing, I don't mind hearing feedback about it. I guess when I kind of work in my own cesspool, it kind of all starts to sound the same.
I would advise looking out for yourself before trying to take on literally the entire world.
Not the entire world, just the
99%.
evil parts of it.
Well,
I hear you. Thanks. I'm really tired, so I'm gonna go to bed now.
you should do that.
I'm gonna droopily tailed walk to my bunk,
Sleep well, Gibbs.
huddle with my jar, sleep off the day, and level up.
There you go. Level 4, Gibbs.
Finally!
I'm going to just sit in the cockpit and just ask some questions to Shade about how flying works, because I'm
Are we there
kind of
yet? Are we there yet?
I'm just kind of excited.
What's that one? Is it supposed to blink?
I drove a car, so I'm just like, oh yeah, I got this. I know how to
Okay.
fly a ship, maybe.
So yeah, you figure out pretty quick. Bubs is asking questions with the aim of eventually being able to fly the ship.
I mean, I would probably show him, the basics.
Sure.
Because I feel like it wouldn't hurt for him to have some basic proficiency with piloting in case
It's like the pilot.
everyone else, literally everyone else was,
incapacitated.
unable
So
to fly.
as you're showing him these things, you kind of show him how you pull up the navigations and where are you setting a course to? Dorado?
Yeah, I mean, if no one else has anywhere to go, I would just head straight for our next objective, and
No problem.
if we're there early, then great. More time to relax and prepare.
So you set your course for Dorado, and you show Bubs all of this. You show him as you key in the coordinates, as you set the vague, and in the drift there is no way to directly travel from point A to point B, but you set like a general heading.
To the
is
next,
really kind of what you can do. The next buoy.
The next buoy.
And you initiate your jump, and you kind of pull this lever back, and Bubs, for the first time, you kind of understand this process. Suddenly, reality shakes around you, and you find yourself in the drift. These cosmic clouds of strange interstellar smoke, almost forming hallways and ceilings above you and around you. Go ahead and roll for... Oh, no, so you're going to Dorado, correct?
Yeah, right.
So go ahead and roll for that.
D6.
Yep.
Oh my god, are you fucking kidding me?
How long is it?
5.
Oh my god.
Rough.
Every
drop
fucking
in.
time.
And all of a sudden, as you kind of drop into this,
Hey.
the computer chirps and you look down 5 days, and then just begins to count down 4 days, 23 hours, and it just slowly begins to count down. You hear from way back in the crew quarters this audible sigh from Spice as it goes across like all the different comms, the time remaining on the trip. But you begin to travel through the drift. Go ahead and make a piloting check.
28.
28, nice. No problem. The area that you enter into, very thick with this kind of mist and fog, and the effects of it can be dangerous to touch. So you have to really focus on steering the ship around and moving it. And over the course of the time, are you setting your transponder to your regular transponder now, or?
I don't know if I want to do that yet. I guess while we're flying, while we're in the drift, I probably would.
Okay.
And so that when we get to Dorado, we would be there
Sure.
as Mosaic.
Yeah. So over the course of the first day, what are you all doing? Gibbs, you were definitely sleeping for the first chunk.
Oh shit, there were things that I wanted to do. I want to try to find out as much about Acclama and Rentropy as possible
Okay.
in the next day. I would also like to, if possible, not necessarily on the same day, like double encrypt our comms and try to like make them more secure
Okay.
if possible.
I think that would be tough to do. So just with a base knowledge.
Right. I would
It's the
need,
equipment is really
yeah,
the
right.
thing that
I
you
would need to get
upgrade.
some more like firewall and
Yeah, for sure.
all that stuff.
So what I would say is you basically you need to
I would need to,
upgrade
like-
the actual systems.
right.
It's sort of the default assumption is that you try to make things as good as you can with what you have.
Right.
So you take a look at it and you mark where you might upgrade some systems.
Okay.
Make a culture check if you're going to look up Acclama and Rentropy. And you take some time to do this, so it's a lower DC than it would normally be.
Okay. Possible to take a 20?
I mean, that's what I'm assuming you're doing.
Yeah.
This is on top of that.
Oh, okay.
You're looking
It's not
for
great.
knowledge here. That's
So it's an 8.
okay. Rentropy is a non-profit company hailing out of the Uzidi Imperium. It is Drow run, and the Drow, actually, the Imperium, not very well known, for nonprofits or charities. In fact, this is the only one that you can really find. There is one for warriors wounded in the Vesk War, actually. But aside from those two, there really aren't a lot. That's in and of itself interesting to note. You begin to research more, and then you really have to kind of pull your attention back because piloting through this section of the drift, tough. Unable to find out too much more. For Aklama, there are some research papers and things like that that talk about genetics and some of her theories, but it seems like right around the time when she was hired by Rentropy, and you could see some local news things from Dorado. It seems like she almost disappears from the Infosphere itself. Nothing updated, nothing really changing. Not a lot of info about her on the info web.
Okay. I guess I would just have my exocortex sort of scrubbing the interwebs.
Yeah, no problem.
Passively while I'm piloting.
The first day goes by.
I think I'd probably have a little bit of an ongoing conversation with Steele. And probably the most recent message I sent to him was,
I was with you for 5 years and we never had one run-in with the group that kidnapped me. I'm sick of you controlling me. You're not my dad.
Okay. Sure. You send that off. The conversation goes a little bit quiet. Make a diplomacy check.
Say, you're not my dad, diplomatically.
18.
Did you text him that?
Yeah.
You're not my dad.
-1.
You are.
So 17.
Yeah, you are not my dad.
You get a response from Steele.
Go to your room.
How dare you raise your voice to me? No, you do get a response from Steele. I'm only trying to help you. I never tried to control you, except to keep you safe.
I'm just going to leave him unread.
Okay, fair enough. Gibbs, you wake up on the second day, now level 4. And,
Look at my jar.
It's however full it is now that you're, over the course of the evening. You leave it open, you kind of hang a tooth in so that slowly you're drooling down into it. And by the end of it, you have this big, goopy, tarry, saliva-y mess at the bottom. Barely even a little bit. But you lug your bottle over to the sink, you fill it with water, and it's almost like a concentrate. It just becomes this gross, dark brown that then transitions into almost this very strange-looking indigo color that has chunks and little bits of murkiness. And at the very end, when you turn the fountain off, or the water off, you can see just 1 or 2 whiskers bob to the top before they dissolve in the familiar trash juice that is your bottle.
While I'm chilling with my mouth over my jar, I've got my phone out with my little ticky-tacky thumbs. Feel like this for a while. And I'm going to text. First, I'm going to text the Skyrat's group text.
Okay.
Group chat, whatever. With Tobin and, anyone else.
It's just Tobin.
Yeah, it's a group text that's just Tobin and I, because we don't know how to use shit.
It's just butt pictures back and forth.
And be like, just woke up. Sorry. Sad face emoji. Thinking of you. Heart, heart, heart. And then I'm going to send a message to Theron, the Theron. Thaddeus the Theron. Thaddeus. Theron Thaddeus.
Yep.
That's what I have written in my transponders list.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's Gibbs! Just checking up on you. Did you land on all 4 feet? Talk soon. Little, I'll send him a heart emoji, but it'll be a yellow heart instead of the red heart.
Sure. Because yellow hearts communicate friendship.
Yes.
Also, he's yellow.
Yes.
So, very quickly, a response comes back. And Thaddeus writes, I'm doing great. I'm very successful, making a lot of money. Hope you guys are doing well too, I guess. And that's the message that you get back.
I'm just going to send him a smiley face.
Okay.
Just kind of keep that channel open.
Sure, no problem. He definitely responds.
Yeah.
Certainly still active and alive, is Thaddeus.
And then I'm gonna go quietly.
Sure.
And I'm gonna try and find Bubs and try to like sneak up on him.
Okay.
With the intention of trying to observe him long enough where he doesn't know that I'm watching him, kind of thing.
Okay, make a stealth check.
I'm probably, at this point, vacuuming.
Okay.
I probably have like 2 vacuums in my hand. Like, you ever see like cartoon octopus with like a bunch of vacuums just cleaning everything?
For
It's
sure,
kind of like that with Bubs.
You're holding like a mop under one arm, you're using 2 vacuums, you have like a duster in your teeth.
18.
Okay. You sneak up on Bubs. Over top, it's easy. You just walk.
He's probably
up, no
also like
problem.
muttering to himself, like what affirmations.
And
Yeah.
just
Springtime is the best time for cleaning.
Every time is the best time for cleaning.
I just want to tune in to him
Okay.
and just kind of observe him and see. I have a sense that my current hypothesis is that, like the way that we just got a ship shield, he's like wearing a shield or something of some sort.
Make a perception check.
And I want to see through that or something.
Yeah, as he vacuums, it's very easy to follow Bubs around the ship. You follow the cord. It's not hard.
28.
28. So there's a period of time, you follow Bubs for a little bit. You go through and you get to the point in the corridor where the toilet is.
Mm-hmm.
It's been sealed for almost 3 days now. Vests emerging for water and bread, little meat pucks. It smells pretty bad, and you can actually see at this point, Bubs is just like, oh, and takes out like an air freshener and up into the air.
Mm-hmm.
What scent is it, Bubs?
Probably the Febreze Hawaiian Aloha.
Mm-hmm.
He likes that.
Not a sponsor.
So yeah, the Befreeze Hawaiian Aloha, really pungent. But as he steps forward, you can see all around, almost like a perfect orb around Bubs. The mist falls and displaces just a little bit. Similar to in animation, really early animation, how rain was depicted, very similar to that. And then he steps through and the aerosol just kind of swirls in his wake. And it's almost hard to tell if you even really did see that, but as you replay it in your mind again and again, and as you follow Bubs, you can see certainly there is maybe something to that.
I thought I smelled food, but you just sprayed some air.
Oh, yeah, it's really good air.
Oh, is it?
I don't think... all right.
And I spray a little.
And it instantly burns as it is,
Spicy.
perfume. Yeah. I don't know if you ever drink a perfume, but it definitely makes your tongue go numb.
Not my favorite.
I've noticed that I used to be able to smell this, but I think I'm losing my smell.
How about a checkup? I'm the medical officer on board. I'm well within my right. I'll wash my hands. Do you want a
Gibbs,
checkup?
by policy, actually, as the medical officer, once a month you can demand a checkup.
Oh, nice.
That is, I'm just saying that's within the company
Do I
policy.
fall under the medical officer's
You do.
purview
You
or the
do.
mechanic's purview?
Medical officer purview.
That's why they didn't want to hire me. They didn't trust me to do
I do
this shit.
count as a construct, so.
Okay, I guess. As long as you wash your hands, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Sure. I will. Right now? Is it now good? Are you busy? You look busy, but you never not look busy, so.
I'm always cleaning. It's really a process cleaning. But the war on cleaning never really ends.
Right, okay.
So I guess we could take a moment.
Okay. Let me grab some water and gloves and gauze just in case. And I will be right back. And I go do that. And I come back. Hands clean. I'll tie my ears up in the little ponytail.
Perfect.
Kind of nodding it around
Are we doing this in the bathroom?
No,
or-
well, we're going to do it in your arsenal. Where's your arsenal? Is that here?
Yeah, my little.
You can see it's actually painted brighter silver than the rest of everything else.
Yes.
And it's also not going to get an ink treatment like the rest of the ship will, to really show that. And even the paint is not gray paint in there. It's been scrubbed away by Bubs, so it's just pure chrome in there.
Great. Well, I'll just start at the top of you and go to the bottom of you and skip some of the parts in the middle, and we'll be okay. And I'm gonna start like prodding his face with my paws, and asking those sort of bedside questions about. So when did you lose your sense of smell?
I mean, I don't
The
think
second that you touch him, as soon as you enter in, again, that sensation certainly happening to your paws. Cold, almost a little bit pins and needles.
I don't think I've lost it completely. I mean, I smelled it just a couple seconds ago. Hawaiian Aloha, that's my favorite, but it doesn't really have that, familiar scent. It feels a little bit harder to smell it.
Sense of taste?
I think I've told you I never really had one. I don't remember.
Right. Eyesight?
Oh, I mean, I see all the crumbs that you leave behind, so I'm pretty good at, getting that. So pretty 20/20, I'd say.
I'll grab a wrapper from my cargo vest, like a Kellogg box or whatever, and I'll step like 6 feet away, and I'll be like, "What does it say?" And I'll hold up, like, cover the logo, but hold up the text.
Do I have to roll to read, or
Like, can you
I think
read it?
I think my
your
eyesight's
eyesight
fine,
is pretty much perfect, and so as you read this, no problem. You read TOBL, and you're like, oh yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure. You can read.
Does it say Toblerone?
It does.
Nice.
Still a company,
Nice.
not a sponsor.
Tuck it back in my pocket. Okay.
That'd be a good
Okay.
sponsor. Oh man, if you're watching,
Toblerone. I know that the marketing executives at Toblerone certainly watching our Starfinder stream, but yeah, we're looking for that sponsorship.
More than Febreze for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
the freeze.
Great. Well, and I'm making him comfortable with me so I can see if I can find if this is like an innate sensation for Bubs, like he presents as human, so I know it's not like a human thing, or if there's like something on his person.
Make one final perception check with a +2 conditional modifier.
Oh, my perception's pretty high though, but it's less than whatever it was.
No more -1 though.
Yeah. So it's 19 plus 2 is 21.
Okay. Wow. That +2 is what makes the difference there for you. So you lean forward a little bit, kind of asking these questions, prodding, and there is a point where you lean in really, as Bubs talks about the Hawaiian breeze not being quite as strong, you lean forward to see if you could smell it on him. And as you get close, your nose, something that can tell you where food is anywhere on the ship, and as there is food on the ship, you can smell it right now. You don't smell anything. You kind of pull away, and you can smell again all at once. But whatever this field is, it affects everything, not just Bubs, that gets within a certain range, very close. Your nose gets that kind of pins and needles feeling, everything, your face as you draw close. And as you pull away, you can smell again, you can taste again. But it is almost like when you draw close to Bubs, your senses dull. And you can't for the life of you see any source to this. But also, I mean, every time that you touch Bubs, his whole body kind of cringes a little bit.
Right.
And you could tell he's like marking, like, I need to shower because of this touch and this one.
Right.
So, it's a little distracting.
And that's why I personally don't really like the pine scent smell, because, it's kind of too earthy for me, and earthy's kind of dirty, and you just don't... Oh.
Right, yeah, and they don't even make any smells that are just like garbage truck on Wednesdays or anything. It's really small marketing. They really should expand it. I imagine there's a lot of species out there that would buy different scents if they marketed them.
I'll sure to mention it in my, monthly letter to them.
Yeah, I can only assume that's how you get all the coupons. Bubs, I want to talk to you about something about you that I've noticed, and I don't want to startle you, so I'm just going to come out and say it.
Startle me? I don't...
Yeah, okay. When I get close to you, it's like you've got a shield about you that dulls senses. You have like an aura of opposite, I guess. You know, like a lot of things you do are like enhancing your senses or whatever, but it's when I get close to you and I can't smell, and it's pins and needles because my paws go numb, kind of. Do you know this?
Gibbs, is this like some kind of like Yokoshi like or something, or like you don't like have like a crush on me or something?
I promise you it's not that. It's only concern for you. And
what do you mean like aura? It's just you're saying pins and needles.
I go grab the Hawaiian scent and I'm like, okay, hold out your arm, okay, and really focus on it, please.
Oh, okay.
And I'm gonna spritz his arm so he can see what I saw.
So in this moment, Gibbs, and you can see, you don't smell, but you see the aerosol roll across, and as it comes in, you can see it does displace around you. Almost like there's an air current, but as you move your arm, it doesn't move with your arm. It just kind of settles across and then floats by your body.
And look, if you do it on me, wet fur, you know? Smelly wet fur, but it's like, yeah, you've just got something repelling. Maybe it's germs or dirt or something, but it's weird, and it just seems to me like you might not know about it, and you're surprised, tell me it's probably new to you, but I don't know.
And like my mind's like kind of like somewhat flashbacking a little bit.
I don't. Hold on, I gotta sit down.
Roll a D100, Buzz.
That's why I got the gauze.
This is a D20. What do I?
Kid spontaneously nosebleed, please.
How do I?
Hold on, I got.
Here's a D.
Here's.
Good use of that emote.
I was literally just writing good use of my email.
80, and then I roll.
You said 80?
Plus, where's the D? Oh, I just do the D10 again.
Yeah.
82.
82. Nice. Okay. Hang on one sec. Okay.
One of these. I like that.
Oh yeah.
Bubs, as you begin to think about this, and you begin to think about what Gibbs is telling you, you see the little bits of aerosol swirl over you, and in that moment, it's not aerosol, but you can see it's like the world slows down, and you're looking up. In a shaft of light, just one in a dark room, you can see a tiny drip coming off of a pipe somewhere, and that catches the light and falls, and as it's about to hit you in the eye, you can see it and just splashes across the air in front of you, just kind of fizzling away. You hear somebody else shifting in the darkness. And then, all of a sudden, for you, Gibbs, you can just see a little trickle of blood. The look in Bub's eyes is different, far away, a little dazed. Bubs, in this darkness, what are you doing?
I'm going to
How long until this is over?
I don't know. They've had us for so long. And you hear your brother's voice. You hear footsteps. Another voice. Make a perception check.
A 3 plus 6, 9.
Okay. You hear footsteps. On the metal hall outside, wherever this place is, you hear high heels. And then your nose just explodes. And for you, there's this big gout of blood that erupts from Bub's nose. You take the gauze, you just jam it right up there. You're almost ready for it. And Bubs, you are back in the present. You see Gibbs in front of you. Unfortunately, that perception check just a little low.
I'm going to push Gibbs out of the way.
Okay.
And just fall kind of backwards against like the armory like doors and like try to brace myself like, oh, don't touch me, no. What's going on? Why are you in my room?
We were doing a medical check, and it seems I might have triggered something. I'm sorry.
Bubs, you have this big thing of gauze just wedged up one of your nostrils.
Good thing you brought that.
I'm gonna just touch my nose.
Oh, yeah, sorry about the mess, and also pushing you.
Okay.
I think I just need to be alone. My head is like pounding, and I feel so dizzy.
And at that perfect timing, suddenly the ship's comms chime, and you all see Peep on the caller ID. Your day is off now, coming into the end of your day. Your second day off, that would be.
I answered.
Okay,
Yeah.
no problem.
Group chat it.
You answer. You can see Peep's Yosoki face, the snow white Yosoki, swarm into your field of view. This is Mission Coordinator Peep. Mosaic Team 5, you guys there?
Hello, Peep.
Hi, Peep.
Hi. Hope everybody had a good day off. Good couple days. Do you guys have any plans? I can tell you're in the drift.
We are en route to Dorado. We were
Dorado already.
forced to leave Petrus for.
We wanted to exceed your expectations and leave early.
Each of you make a bluff. Well, okay. Make a bluff check,
Yeah.
make a diplomacy check.
Yikes! Of course, I don't have a good modifier.
16.
Though. Ooh, 15 because
Okay.
plus 0.
Soft stat. Gives
Yeah.
good at.
Well, thank you for showing initiative. I appreciate that, guys. I guess we're really turning things around. All right. Well, I'm glad that you guys are en route to Dorado because it seems like the J Brigade is really kind of setting up a situation. They've taken an additional floor. So this whole call center now is under their purview. They have a lot of hostages. There's a few bounty hunters that have gone in already. I know one just went in, so we'll see what happens. Do you guys know about how many days away you are?
We are 3 days left, right?
4.
We only did
this
one
is
day. So
okay. This is the beginning of the second day.
Yeah.
Or middle of.
Yeah, middle
Okay.
of.
3.5.
By the universe. Okay, well, Shade, at some point we should really talk about maybe
Switching my percentile die.
about seeing if we can find some kind of an upgrade for that ship. I still haven't seen any of the specs of it. Oh, which reminds me, did you guys get my package?
yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Did you apply the paint? Did you
We
put the
have not
transponder
yet.
in?
Done. So I was planning on doing so once we landed.
You can do it in space. That's fine. Whatever you do, it's set to be Mosaic Shuttle 5. That's part of the name that's going to be sprayed on the side. It's standard colors. There has been some issues with these drones where they do, I guess, get reprogrammed accidentally in flight. Just check to make sure that it's correct, and please don't modify it. And looks around. Is Spice here?
Spice is currently resting.
Napping.
Please don't let her pick the colors.
I mean, I like our blue. Blue's fine.
I do not care.
I like green more than blue, but blue's good.
Okay, it's not your ship. Look, make sure the transponder gets turned on because it makes me really nervous having you guys go around with an illegal ship.
The transponder is already installed.
It's the paint
Excellent.
job we haven't done. It's the cosmetic
Yes.
stuff.
Excellent. So as long as both are done, that's important.
Mm.
When you go in, you're going to be interacting with the Hive Guard. They're the people who
take care of everything here. They're like the peacekeepers for the Shiren. When you go there, you can talk to. Give me 1 second. I gotta find this guy's name. You can talk to Hiveguard Andy. He's a veteran on this force and somebody that we've interacted with a little bit more, especially Team 3. He's done a lot of work in Dorado lately. So please, he's getting pretty close to retirement. If you guys could just try to keep him out of whatever it is that's going to go on in terms of action, that would be great for our optics. Do you guys have any questions? Anything that you need to know?
What is our task when we encounter the Jade Brigade?
So right now, it's gonna take a quick look. Jade herself, her bounty has been steadily rising. I think it was 50,000 last time that I spoke to you. After the events that have transpired, now it's up to 65, with an additional 5,000 credits per associate, and she has at least 13 people with her, probably more at this point. She is to be taken dead or alive, so, you guys should have no problem with that. The only thing that I know that CGS is really looking for is the return of their genetic laboratory, the miniature one. This is their office, so I would imagine, it'll be something that looks like it matches the rest of the furniture there.
Makes
Jade
sense.
has taken it currently.
Yes, so a couple weeks ago, Jade began a new... How much do you know about Jade?
How much do I know about Jade?
I just read a bunch of articles
Probably
about
not
her.
a ton.
Because we looked her up and saw the news articles
Yeah.
about how they had started essentially working their way up the tower, right?
And so Peep nods and he says, exactly. This was just a bunch of tree huggers, and they used to kind of protest at construction sites, and they would spike trees. This is very different for the brigade. So this, I don't know what that means. You need to be really careful going in. None of the other bounty hunters have come back out, and you guys are just starting to be an actual team. I would hate to lose you now.
Should we rescue the other bounty hunters, or would it be better if we left them there?
No. We can't just leave people behind. That's terrible.
It would be
Gibbs.
terrible optics.
No, we need to try to rescue them if they're there. Okay. But what I would say, try to send them outside of the building, get them out so that they can't claim any part of the bounty.
Finer points.
That is assuming that they are still alive.
Right. Well, it's only been about 2 days since the last one went in, so I have some hope there.
Yeah.
And yet none of them have come out.
Well, no, but it's a huge building, and my guess is that they're probably being taken hostage. We only heard gunshots the one time, and the last time we haven't heard anything, and they take the elevator straight up to the 19th floor. That's part of the problem. The building widens out after that point, and so there's 6 elevators you can take from that floor. But only 2 elevators actually arrive in the 19th floor itself. They're separated because they move out at a different axis.
All right. And Jade demanded an interaction of Shundock Genetic Solutions, SG's.
CGS.
Sorry.
Chachawek Genetic Solutions.
Yeah.
That's
what she wanted? What was her...
So her demands are that they cease any genetic testing on plants, and that they relinquish their building and their assets with him, which, quite frankly, is insane. It's billions of credits of assets.
Okay. I don't have any more questions about the bounty. Do you guys have any more questions about the bounty?
Do you have any schematics of the building? Anything that would help us for infiltration?
No schematics, unfortunately. I can look and see what I can pull up while you guys are in transit, though. That's a good idea. We know about the elevator situation. It goes from 1 to 19, and then from there are 6 elevators that radiate out from levels 19 to 25. CGS has the top 5 floors of this building. Top 3 floors of this building.
And that is presumably where Jade will be.
That's where she's trying to access, certainly. I think that she has it in her mind that there might be something there that she could use. I think she got a taste for that genetic laboratory, and I'm sure on the black market that must have sold for millions. Similar equipment would be an excellent windfall for her and whatever her goals are.
If any other questions come up, we will contact you.
Peep, I'm gonna send you an email. See you soon.
Okay. Peep out.
Peep out.
Fizzles.
I'm probably just gonna be listening on the comms while sitting on my bed.
I think you better get going, Gibbs. We're gotta get ready for the bounty.
Yep, 4 days to go. Let me know if you need anything or an ice pack or more gauze. If you don't want to touch it, you can just leave it outside the door and I'll dispose of it.
Oh, okay.
See you later.
Thank you.
And as she leaves, I'm gonna take the Febreze Hawaiian Aloha and just take my arm and just spray it and try to see what she's talking about.
Same exact thing. You see the displacement of the aerosol, you smell, and for just a second, it's like you can smell the memory of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then as soon as you sniff in, it's almost like it's just nothing.
Phantom nose smell.
He's got COVID.
That's what he was whispering that to me when you guys were talking. So
I sent Peep a quick email being like, misplaced the medical files for the crew. Please resend. And I'll screenshot the crumpled up policy about medical personnel and not using their offices for canoodling and be like, oh, like, this is a policy about medical stuff, and I'll, like, attach it to the email that I'm sending just to be like, I'm being legit, trying my hardest. Medical officer.
okay, you get a response in an email, and it just says, that's a policy on the use of lubricant in the medical bay. It has nothing to do with any kind of medical files. However, attached are the medical files for your team that you are privy to.
Great.
And yeah, you have those. You pop open Bubs. You learn Bubs, I mean, not learn. You know Bubs is relatively young. The age is not surprising. The height, nothing. You do note that it is marked that Bubs has alopecia. Although looking at Bubs, his completely bald face, no eyebrows, not hard to believe. In terms of medical, perfect. It's marked that all of his senses are fine. His feet are a little flat. There's nothing marked in terms of like diseases or anything like that.
And then I take a peek at Shades.
Shades. Shades is interesting, and Shades is actually a lot thicker. And a part of that is because with Shades, not only is there like medical files, as you alluded to, there are mechanical, like, you know, almost like user manuals that are located there as well. Aside from that, there are a number of procedures that have been done to maintain the actual biological parts of Shade. Androids do have an issue where, upon being very badly wounded, sometimes the mechanical elements can be rejected partially. It's happened to Shade once or twice, which happens to everybody. It happens to people with, organ transplants,
right.
Things of that nature as well. Nothing crazy out of the ordinary, unless there is that I'm not aware of.
Nothing that I know of.
There you go.
So I'm just going to spend my time sort of putting on that hat and
Nothing
like really like doing what I probably ought to have done originally and like learning about my crew and how best to keep them alive and, you know, scoffing at all the remarks that some other medical personnel has made about whatever. And that's how I'm going to spend some downtime is being the medical officer
Sure.
and doing that paperwork. And I assume that there's a form I fill out whenever I give a evaluation, so
Yeah.
I do the fucking paperwork and I send it off to Pete.
Fantastic.
But for Shade and Vest, except for the diarrhea, and Spice, I'm like, all good.
Sure. So you falsify some medical documents for your entire team.
Great.
No problem. You send those in. Peep sends in the little thumbs up emoji, and you go about. That day draws to a close, and as we begin to get close to the third day, Shade, for you,
You're piloting through the drift, and so far it's been a relatively unremarkable journey. It's actually been some time since you've been in the drift, and anything really bad has happened. But as you round a corner and you move, for the very first time, you see something else in the drift with you. But because it is 8 o'clock, this is where we're going to step away for a quick break. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, being active in the chat, using the channel points. Thank you for that.
I used some for the first time, I think.
Yeah, a bunch of people did. So it is 8 o'clock. We're going to take a 10-minute break. We'll be back at 8:10, and we're going to play till right around 9 o'clock. So we will see you then. Bam. and welcome back to Mosaic Team 5, our Starfinder campaign. Ooh, excuse me. Thank you so much for hanging out with us through the break. If you did so, if you're just joining us, our group basically kicked out of the planet of Petrus 5. Or 4, sorry. That was a weird... You know what it was? So long ago, I was talking about the different Petruses, and you had so much trouble with the...
You did it in Roman numerals, and I thought it was 5.
Yeah, and so that's stuck with me ever since then. And because we have Mosaic Team 5, it's hard to break the habit of. But thank you so much for hanging out with us. Your group kicked out of Petrus 4. You made your way into the drift. Over the course of the travel, you've spoken a little bit, done a little bit of research on the infosphere. And now, as we get into the midst of the 3rd day of your trek, this 5-day journey, Shade. 3rd day. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so turn on Mosaic engines, some spacey sounds. As you are traveling now through this space, you can see the mist and strange interstitial kind of space clouds that surround you. As you go underneath a column of them and begin to turn the ship and edge the nose upward, you see, for the first time in a very long time, something else in the drift with you. In the darkness of this space, you see, and very strangely, it's like sunlight falls across. You see, slightly at an angle so that it is justified pointing towards you, what looks like a displaced chunk of golden plains. You can see little bits of earth on the edges of it.
Golden plains?
Wheat, grass, tall grasses, drifting as if wind brushes across them. You can see the gold here in the dark space almost reflects because it looks as if sunlight hitting them from above. You can even see, as you look, kind of slowing the ship a little bit, as it does across most of the space here. You're going to have to go underneath or over top to get around it. You see shadows of clouds moving across, as if this has been displaced from somewhere else, still almost experiencing echoes of the weather. And indeed, as you see the grass move, it seems to be have atmosphere. You actually see 1 or 2 birds kind of fluttering through the space. But as it draws a little bit closer, what are you doing?
Probably keeping a safe distance, but getting close enough to be able to scan for any signs of life or anomalies. This is not particularly unusual in the drift, or...
The drift has many displaced sections of planets and other things. Yeah, there's all kinds of weird stuff in the drift, so not especially weird.
Yeah, I would, look for anything that would be weird about this.
Sure.
And, proceed with relative caution.
So you begin to scan. And as your sensors go across this, even at this relatively short range, you see there is life. First of all, solid biomass, almost this entire thing. Some kind of long grass. You see little birds registering, but then within the grass you see several other larger signatures. Certainly there's life on this little chunk of rock.
Ship that.
How large is it relative to the ship?
Much larger.
Okay, so it's like
this
small planet asteroid or something?
Asteroid. Sized. Yeah. And when you look at this, I mean, if you were to stand on one end, it would just look like you're standing in a wheat field looking forward. You wouldn't be able to see the end of it.
Not like Little Prince planet.
No. This is like a displaced field. Almost like a little valley in and of itself.
Yeah, I guess I would land out of curiosity, and we don't lose time by stopping to see it, right?
No, not really. I mean, unless you lose as much time as you spend there. So you hit the retro thrusters a little bit, and you slowly come to a stop. You actually see some of this grass beneath you burn and char.
Proceed for landing.
Why landing? I'm going to run up.
There's a strange cluster of landmass.
Nice.
Multiple signs of life.
We were just talking about getting a ship pet.
I'm gonna walk through the door as I hear Pet.
Pet, I mean, don't you think there's enough, mess on the ship already? A pet would add a lot more mess.
Not if we had it litter box trained. It would be fine. I'm litter box trained.
And as the two of you enter into the cockpit to have this conversation, you see in front of you, as Shade sets the ship down to land, a beautiful field of golden grass kind of swaying, small elements of rocky outcrops here and there with greener grass growing on top.
And Sting starts to play.
You can see little birds, elements of maybe like butterflies even. It's a very beautiful little field here in the middle of the darkness of the drift. And the sunlight falls down around you, although looking up over top, you just see the dark space and the space clouds further beyond that. No sun, though there is sunlight.
Did my scans detect any atmosphere or...
There is atmosphere, however, not breathable to the lot of you.
Except for me, because I don't need air.
You don't need air.
Oh, there's a suit though.
Yeah, there's suits. We got suits.
Yeah, you guys can definitely put on spacesuits. That's no problem.
You want company or you want to explore alone?
I do not care. I am simply performing a quick reconnaissance for anything of value, and then we should proceed to Dorado. You
Cared
may
enough
come
to
if
park.
you want.
So I will put on my safe space suit,
Okay.
the Gibbs-sized one.
You see Gibbs get into the spacesuit, which has had the feet filled in most of the way with some kind of a substance so that Gibbs can actually sit, like fit
It's
in
like
it.
a little platform.
Yeah,
boots.
basically platform shoes. But Gibbs, you screw the top onto it, and no problem.
I'm just gonna put on my helmet. My thin plate, which is like my armor,
Yep.
has like any light armor in this game basically gives you like an environmental protection suit for like breathing in air and stuff. So
Oh.
I'm just gonna have that on. And
I don't think mine has that.
do you have any armor? I don't think you have any armor.
I have second skin.
Yeah, I think you have.
That comes
that's
with a little
armor.
bit of like
Yeah.
an atmosphere kind of thing.
But
you
I'm
can put
gonna
on.
I'm gonna go the biosuit way.
Okay,
I
yeah,
was
no
like,
worries.
why the fuck
I like
not?
it. Yeah. So you have this suit on, and for all of you, you just kind of pop. Goes up for you.
I do
Bubs,
nothing.
for you to just step out. But no problem. You walk out and down the gangplank into this beautiful sunny meadow. And yeah, you can see the blackness of space. There's no blue skies here. So it's bizarre. It feels really strange. But you step on, you look up, you see space, you look out across, you see this grass.
Is there anything of note about the grass? Is it just like it's just grass?
I mean, you could make a life sciences check if you're trying to find out about
Trying
that.
to
Yeah.
figure out, is there anything of value here, or should we just turn right back around and leave?
Well, so those are different questions. When you say, I'll make a perception check if you're
Okay.
looking for something of value.
Yeah, something of value, and if nothing of value, just gonna do a quick scan of this grass
Sure.
to see, what species and shit. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Nice.
You look around. You don't see any buildings, anything like that. You see this beautiful grass. You see the birds. You see the grass 100 feet off. There's definitely larger creatures here, but you don't see any civilization. Then you look down, and here in a place where you feel the wind, but there is no precipitation. There is no real weather. You can see there are drag marks in the dirt. Probably hard to tell how fresh, but you can see drag marks almost like you can see treads on one side, so maybe like a damaged vehicle or
Or like a plow.
a plow, something that's carrying something else, some kind of a wheeled vehicle that has been damaged. And you can see that goes straight away from, if you were to look back, it goes back past the ship and kind of disappears off the edge, but continues forwards and through the field.
I would probably follow that.
Sure.
That seems like a thing worth following to see what has created this.
Sure. The shade begins to walk forward. You go as well, Gibbs?
Yes, but you mentioned butterflies.
Yeah.
Looking for butterflies to bring
in
some
the
levity
jar?
back to my life.
Oh, I thought you were gonna put them in the jar.
Well, first I have to find them, and then I can decide what to do with them. And if they're alive, maybe jar. If they're dead, maybe
Also jar?
Also,
Bob's bed.
They're flying all over the place. And
Or
as you're
pocket
moving
snacks.
around, it's not hard to find them.
Okay.
They're all over the place. Now, if you want to catch them, that's going to be an acrobatics check. Something that I would imagine you could probably do.
Yeah, I mean, I can do technically everything. I'm just gonna follow behind Shade because he's like scouting and stuff.
Yeah.
And just like formulate a plan of attack. Start to sort of like slowly sift through the cargo vest
Okay.
underneath my suit and be like, what jars do I have? And I remember that I have that free coffee mug I was given.
Yep. 32-ounce tumbler.
Yeah. So I start to like wiggle that out of my spacesuit, but
So you watch as the arms, as Gibbs is walking, suddenly become like rubber. As Gibbs's arms are manipulating things inside the suit itself.
Gibbs, are you okay?
yep, just trying to get my coffee mug out.
And you can see in like the material of the suit, like just like things moving around.
It's underneath this one pocket, but it got a little crumpled up when I took this other suit on.
You're gonna drink coffee now?
No, the mug's empty. I can't keep it in my cargo pockets if it's full.
How do you plan on getting it out of your suit?
Well, it'll be fine because I have the second skin.
Why do you need a mug right now? I'm still walking.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for a container to put the butterflies in. Do you have a jar?
I don't
Or
think so. Nah, I got very little.
I got like a Game Boy, a coffee mug, a droid.
It's a game guy.
Game guy.
Game guy 5.
But this is the closest I have to a jar besides my jar. So
Why do you want to have them captured? I mean, you're not
Presumably.
gonna.
Also, how are you getting it
Sustenance.
out of the spacesuit? It's
That's
like
what- yeah, that's
inside
can
of
I,
the suit.
can I
That's what.
reconnect it to the second skin I wear or whatever?
I see what you're saying. So you're gonna open the suit, but use the second skin to maintain your atmospheric seal.
Yeah,
Okay, sure.
the suit was more for aesthetic.
That's what
reasons
Shade was
anyways.
asking. Was
Yeah.
like,
So you guys watch, briefly concerned, as in the middle of this alien place in the middle of space, Gibbs just there's this of air venting out into space. The gravity on this place much less than what you're used to. This is a tiny place producing almost no gravity. And so as you do this, you are like accordion down into the ground, and all the grass around you just kind of away. You all see Gibbs remove the helmet. There is the second skin over top the face, keeping her safe. And then you can also see Gibbs now holding this 32-ounce Mokosi tumbler.
And I've got the helmet. Now I have 2 jars. This is everything I've ever wanted.
I'm happy for you.
Me
Gibbs.
too.
You're not
following the
gonna
path,
bring
though.
those on the ship, right?
You haven't much. Maybe this is hard critique. I have bugs all of the time. Wouldn't it be nice if they were winged?
No, that sounds.
Having a
Terrible.
few specimens on the ship is not harmful.
We can put them in one of those boxes with the plastic grated tops, and we can feed them things.
Probably
popcorn.
sugar water.
You
is
guys
probably
say that,
what
but
they would
honestly,
require.
you guys think that you're like making like an ant farm, and you're like staring at the ants. But honestly, sometimes it feels like the whole ship is an ant farm, and we're living in it.
You see a big butterfly right in front of you, Gibbs. It kind of right onto the edge of the helmet. It is wider than your hand. It's massive, probably about the size of like an owl. And it sits there, red wings, yellow tinged with these little white speckles along the bottom. And it just kind of like opens and shuts the wings a couple times. And then takes off, and you see go off further into the golden grass.
Bubs, never look under my bed. and I'm gonna run off and try to capture butterflies.
Sure. You run off. You hear the little Gibbs footsteps as Gibbs scampers into the grass. You lose sight of her almost immediately.
Gibbs, please stay nearby. We
Keep
do not
up!
know.
You hear, you can see like the grass like parting as she runs. Gibbs, you run forwards. You watch. You can see this little butterfly flying. You take your helmet and your tumbler. Which one are you trying to grab it with?
It's owl size, so helmet.
Okay. You take the helmet, you kind of tuck the tumbler under, and you go, you get ready to leap. You're running, timing, running, looking forward, running, timing, and you see this little clearing come ahead. You get ready to spring, now having your feet underneath. And as you do, you see this huge shape leap from the grass and swallow in a massive mouth this butterfly. And it lands and skids into this grass behind you. You can see the creature, the plates around it appear to be almost like metal. This creature, roughly the size of maybe like a bear, although lithe, lean, very metallic looking. You see no eyes on it. And at this point, you can see as it like skids in, kind of biting down on this creature, it seems to stop. The wings still like twitching in the mouth, and it just makes this big and begins to like look around. What are you doing?
Do we see this?
You don't
As it
see this, but
jumps?
you hear it, and you hear this big like and this big slam and a skid. And you see the little thing, Gibbs, like, keep up, stop. And you can put together roughly that something is happening.
Draw my pistol and
Sure.
go towards the
Yeah, I'd
noise.
also go towards it.
Yeah, I'm gonna just try and stay as silent as possible.
Make a stealth check.
I'm tasty, at the very least flavorful. 4
Been
plus
marinating for some
1,
time.
5. Yeah, I'm not good at this shit.
Okay. You said 5?
5 total, yeah.
Okay, so you
That
see
spacesuit
this
is good for
creature.
sous vide.
This creature
Crinkle, crinkle, crinkle.
swallows this entire butterfly-like being. And you hear all of a sudden from underneath this kind of like ticking begin, and it begins to turn and look. Instantly, the nostrils flare and the whole head just snaps to you. You are quite smelly.
Yes.
All of a sudden, off to your right, you hear, and you kind of like turn, you see the grass slowly part. There's another one. And then you hear more of this growling and more. There are at least 10, 12 of these creatures. Each one easily larger than you. You look, and as it growls and the mouth opens, you can see the tattered remains of this butterfly hanging off of 3 rows of jaws and teeth that go back and back and back. This creature, almost like a goblin shark mouth, you would imagine it can reach out and grab you.
How many are there now?
So now, Shade, as you look maybe 30 feet back from where Gibbs is, you're beginning to see there are at least 10 to 12 of these shapes beginning to move through the grass. You can see like now closing in very much like a pack.
Are
The
they
grass,
recognizable as like a species that I've seen? Or
you can't even see them. All you're
okay.
seeing is like
It's just
7
the,
or
like,
8
rustling
trails begin to move very purposefully in the direction of where Gibbs just stopped.
Okay.
You can hear the growling, slow rumble.
I'm gonna ready in action.
Okay.
And I will. The flavor of how I wanted this spell to work doesn't really work right now, but I'll do it anyways. I'm gonna
Sure.
briefly disengage the helmet, grab one of the earrings from my ear,
Okay.
and just sort of like hold it and start to just like have like the ichor of Gibbs like wad around it the way like you apply like gum to
Okay,
something.
sure.
It just sort of like make it like really like a gross like spitball.
Okay. So you take it very slowly, aware that I can't see you, but is definitely operating by smell. You take this off and slowly begin to roll it in your hands. And like you would roll dough or Play-Doh, slowly, like the elements of grub and grime come off your hand and begin to roll around this earring until you just have it's like dead skin cells and hair and like strange bits of sticky substances. But you hold this little orb in your hand.
Cool. And I am readying a spell, just so you know.
Okay. What about the two of you?
I would probably try to get up to Gibbs
Same.
Okay.
and like put a hand on Gibbs' shoulder and be like,
Make a stealth check.
back
if you're trying to get up
away
there.
slowly.
There's a good
Yeah.
number of these creatures.
Yeah, seeing that this is happening, I'd probably, try to approach as cautiously as possible so we
Sure.
can like
I'm
try
probably
to
like a little bit behind Shade,
dip
but
out.
not sneaking, but
nice.
well, not sneaking in this. Definitely stealthy.
Stealth, dirty 20.
A dirty 20. Quietly, all of a sudden, as all these creatures, and now, Gibbs, you see the one that was growling maybe 20 feet away from you. There's another one 5 feet diagonal from that, another one from that, and then you hear from either side there are more coming in, and suddenly there's this touch on your shoulder, and you start and turn, and it's Shade, and then a little bit behind that, Bubs.
Back away slowly. We need to get back to the ship.
They can smell me.
Yes.
Even as you whisper, suddenly, like one of them kind of takes a step forward into the clearing, like the head turning side to side. You see the big nostrils.
Get back to the ship. I'll try to keep them distracted.
I will start
Be ready to close the loading dock doors.
migrating towards the ship.
Okay.
I'm gonna like slowly back up with Gibbs, and if they start to make their move, I'm like shooting the first one that attacks.
Sure.
That
Gibbs,
pounces.
make a stealth check.
I'm gonna just basically leading the guard, like as closest to the ship. I'm gonna just be clearing a path in case one of us jumps in front of us
Okay,
as we're
sure.
trying to get through
Absolutely, yeah. Make a stealth check as well.
Okay.
Because we're all kind of creeping backwards.
13.
Okay.
it. Ooh, a 2 plus a -2.
A 0.
Okay. I'm going to say, though, this is a good time for a natural one for these guys
Good.
Oh,
in terms
Nice.
of their senses.
They only just get a whiff of you because the Hawaii breeze or whatever.
Hawaiian aloha.
Hawaiian aloha.
So as you guys begin to take a step back, you make it maybe 10, 15 feet back. For you, Shade, you just kind of like fade up to where Gibbs is, and then you retrace your steps, already touching parts of the ground that have been compressed, crunching no little pebbles or anything like that. For you, Gibbs, you're a little nervous. These creatures closed in on you really quick, and they are bigger than you. You take a couple steps back. You take a few steps back even more. Bubs, for you, you get to within 10 feet of the ramp. You turn, and for a moment, the way that Shade and Gibbs are standing, Gibbs is blocking your vision of the clearing behind, and so you can't quite see any of the creatures. The way that Shade is slowly backing up, the slight half cape in the wind obscures your vision of the creatures, and you feel like you're in the clear. And you turn and you go, oh, guys. And at this moment, all of a sudden, you just hear like these snarls. And it's like these shapes spread out. There are at least 13 or 14 of these creatures at the line looking at the ship, or kind of facing the ship. Metallic, in similar ways to like, gallium. It very quickly oxidizes and leaves this dark gray, but with like the faintest bit of a luster beneath. That is what their skin or their scales or their plates or whatever they are seem to be made out of. But they begin to immediately charge as soon as you have this like sigh of relief. You said that you were going to fire.
Firing at the like first one who's leading the
So my question for you: you are 10 feet away from the ship. You are about 20 feet away from the ship. You are about 25
I'm
feet
readying
away from
an
the ship.
spell.
If with your guys' movements, are you guys trying to get on board the ship and leave?
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, without rolling initiative to start, you guys dash to the edge of this ramp. You begin to run forward. Shade, if you are taking your full movement, are you able to get to the cockpit?
I don't think. Does the shot count as part of the action, or is that a readied action and then I can dash?
It's a ready action, and then you can dash.
Okay, then my base movement speed is 30.
Oh, Gibbs.
Oh no.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
So 60 feet.
That's 60 feet. So yeah, I can't get
Okay.
there.
So the first thing
I
that you're
can
going to
get,
do,
like,
you're
probably right to about this airlock.
yeah. So you turn, you fire, you can make an attack roll, and then you rush. You will get to the airlock, no problem. You kind of slam on the button, the thing raises up. Go ahead and make your attack roll. Bubs, you easily get on board. You can position yourself wherever you want on the ship because you were closest.
I'm gonna try to get to the gunnery part,
Okay.
the gun cannon.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
I got to 20... 21.
21 certainly hits. Yeah, you can, and that's against.
Noise Gibbs.
Against whichever
Energy?
one charged first.
Yeah, energy or kinetic.
Oh, yeah. That's my tri-laser, so energy.
Okay, so sure. Go ahead, make your damage roll.
All right. Ooh, that's full 8 damage.
Full 8 damage. Nice. Okay. Bubs, you get to the gunnery. Gibbs, what are you doing?
I'll be the last one on the ship because this is sort of my fault. And I will cast the spell that I've had
It's not ship to
prepared. And this spell is annoying, just DMing wise.
Okay.
I don't like the way it is, but
I'm
it's
excited.
Sorry in advance.
well, sorry, it sucks because you have to roll for everything.
No, I'm excited.
Great spell, but shitty for you.
So it's hurl force disc, and so it starts with it's a super big range, and I can target up to 5 creatures, as long as those 5 creatures are within 15 feet from the last target. So as long as they're within like a line of.
Does it have to be a straight line?
No, it can ricochet.
Yeah, absolutely. You can get 5 of them.
Great. So it's gonna start with one of them. I make a ranged attack against its EAC
Okay.
of 17 plus my spell modifier, which is wisdom. So that's dirty 20 to hit.
Okay, that hits.
So the first one takes 3d6 force damage. So it takes 6, 7, 8 force damage. And then it ricochets 4 times, of which I need to make a ranged attack against each of them.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the first one, 19 plus 3 is enough.
19 plus 3 is enough. Yes,
All right.
that hits.
And then this one gets 2d6 secondary force damage, and I
Lovely.
roll the damage separately for each attack.
Yep, I remember this spell.
I hate this!
I remember
Oh
this
my
So that
goodness.
one gets 4 damage.
Okay,
Then the next one, 13 plus 3 is 16 to hit.
that's a miss.
Great.
These things are plated.
Cool. I hate this spell. Sucks. It's good. It's a good spell.
Oh,
'cause
and then it
it's-
stops because it doesn't hit, or does it keep going?
The Hold on. You make a ranged attack against each successive target's EAC. The damage is rolled separately. The disc continues to ricochet. Oh, until it has attempted. Oh, so it just keeps going. Fuck.
Yeah. So
good.
unfortunately,
That's
it's
good.
the first one.
Yeah.
And you see this gross disc spinning out, strike it, strikes to the side, kind of skids but continues to move forward. The second one, it bounces off, hitting it just below the jaw, not quite as much damage, and then just skips off the ground and into the grass.
It hit 2.
Yes.
So it hit 2. I attempted to do the 3. That missed, so I've got 2 more. So
Yep.
I'll do the next one. 14 plus 3 is 17.
That just hits.
Okay.
So it
So
hits
that's
off
6
the ground
damage
and
on that
then
one.
Pops back up.
And then the next one is 19 plus 3.
That definitely hits.
9 damage.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, hits one, then the other, skips off the ground, strikes one in the leg, and then goes spinning end over end and hits one right in the head.
there is this loud metallic clang as it bounces off and then fires off into the sky. You see each one of them with this grossness attached to them. Fantastic. Give me one.
And I'll use my movement to get as close to the ship as I can.
All right. Yeah, no problem. So you move forward. You get from where you were, just your movement.
Yeah.
You're going to get to within 10 feet of the ship. That's unfortunate.
That's okay.
Okay. No worries. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up some music for you here. Because I accidentally deleted a lot of music.
Yeah, if Gibbs was still off of the ship, I wouldn't have shut this. Like I'm
I
not.
assumed it was a
figured-
trap.
Yeah, I would wait for everyone to get on and probably.
So now I
provide
need
some
everybody to
covering
roll for
fire.
initiative. Because you guys did not quite make a clean getaway,
All
unfortunately.
right, that's okay.
15.
Oh, nice.
18.
I just got the thing that gives me +2 to my initiative. Doesn't matter.
We got a natural 20 there?
I did.
Nice. Okay, so that's going to be you up at the top there. Shade. Anybody 25 to 20?
Yes.
Yes, Gibbs.
Just kidding. It's only an 18.
18.
I also have an 18.
Okay.
Your dex is probably high, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So Bubs. So it's going to be Shade, followed by Bubs, followed by Gibbs, followed by these creatures. So, Shade. You already made your attack roll. You ran over. You continue moving to the front if you want, and kind of. Are you like preparing to close the door when?
Yeah, I think what I would do is probably like hand at the button,
Yeah.
waiting, and like trying to give some what would be covering fire.
Yeah, hang on. Let me get you guys some models to.
Oh, look here. We can turn it this way.
Yeah.
So I can be. I'm 10 feet from the ship. So if we count this line as the hatch I need to get to, I am.
Well, you have the hatch there,
Oh,
Yeah.
so.
problem solved. There you go.
And I would probably be like here,
Yeah.
right? At the button.
Okay. Oh, a lot of running for this. Okay, here we go. All the way back. Bring up the combat cam here. Alrighty.
Those displacer beast token.
Those are
models?
not. No. Those
no,
are
'cause they
steel
only have-
predators,
they only have-
technically, but that's not what they are in our game.
Oh, I mean like the figures.
Yes,
but they're not.
steel predator
anyway.
figures is
Oh,
what they are.
cool.
So these creatures, there's only 2 of them that are probably going to make it onto the ship with you, Gibbs. You see like 13, 14, maybe 15 behind. Shade, if you want, given where you are, if all the doors are open, you have just barely line of sight on one of them. What's your range?
My range is I think 80 feet.
80 feet? Yeah, you absolutely could take a
Yeah,
shot. It's
80
gonna be
feet.
you're gonna be taking a -2 to this.
Okay.
And then you would imagine they have cover.
Well, I'm gonna do as my standard action covering fire.
Sure.
So as a standard action, I make a ranged attack that provides covering fire for an ally, Gibbs. If I hit, I deal no damage, but the selected ally gains a +2 bonus to AC against
Awesome.
the next attack.
Awesome, yeah. So go ahead and make that attack roll.
Nice. It was a flat 19 plus something, and the AC was 15 for the covering fire.
Absolutely, yeah, fantastic. So you hold out your laser, you begin to pull the trigger, sending shots down the ramp. Careful not to hit Gibbs, but mostly just to suppress. Gibbs, can you put this on your character just to remember that
So you have a
that +2?
+2 to AC for the next attack.
All of a sudden,
against you.
Gibbs' laser fire rains around you, covering fire. You kind of look back, you can see up at the top of the deck, Shade firing down.
And then as a move action, I'm gonna use my combat tracker on the one that I have partial line of sight to.
Okay, sure. All of a sudden, as that fire hits along the area or the side, it seems to glance off the metallics, but your heads-up display focuses in on the one, and you can see this little marker appear around it. Anything else, Shade?
Nope. I'm just waiting for Gibbs to get on the ship so we can
Alright.
shut the bay doors.
Bubs, you slide through the hatchway and into the turret. What are you doing?
I'm going to fire at him.
Go ahead, make an attack roll.
Okay.
Yeah. You have the stats of the weapon, I believe, Shade.
Yeah, I don't know how to do
Which
that.
weapon?
the gun. I'm the gunner. I should know this too.
Yeah.
I wasn't here in the episode when
I
we
think
did
it's
this.
different though for
Oh, hold on. I've got the sheets.
ship to thing.
Person?
It
oh.
is.
Yeah,
Make
ship to person.
So make a ranged weapon attack roll.
Oh, okay.
You are proficient with this weapon. As
Yeah.
you are proficient with most weapons.
So you're doing what would be the gunner phase.
2 + 7.
Yeah, that's what I'd be looking at. But...
So you swing this turret around, and for all of you who can hear all of this happening, the loudest sound on the battlefield suddenly becomes, and you turn the whole turret. These two guns, these lasers, light as they are for like a starship, quite powerful against land-based enemies. These two laser blasts howl out across the plains. You can see grass burn and char along these pathways until a rocket hit and explodes off in the distance. The other one spirals out into space. Big miss, though.
All right. That's my turn.
Alrighty. That brings us to Gibbs. Gibbs, you hear this huge laser go off next to you, laser going all around you, these creatures closing in. What are you doing?
I know with my movement I can get on the ship, but that's not necessarily going to stop them from being able to get on. So I will go to spit my hands, but realize I'm wearing the helmet and just have the loogie there and be like, fuck. And so...
Right in front.
I will instead sort of shake and uncork the jar and pull from it, and I'm going to cast Fear at 2nd level for the first time.
Yeah.
Which lets me affect 2 creatures of CR4 or lower as long as they're within my range, and they're not 30 feet apart, which they're not. And each of them must succeed at a will saving throw, please.
Now, if they're above that CR, do they need to make the save?
I assume it just doesn't work. I guess it doesn't work.
You pull from the bottle, and as this wave of magic splashes across the ground, you can see it just harmlessly, dirt, muck, grime, and they burst through it, unaffected.
Fuck! And I'm gonna turn, cause that's big guns for Gibbs, so I will scamper up and start to jam the elevator button of like when you're late for an appointment and you really need the doors to close.
Hand is on it and you're just like...
Slam on Shade's hand. Shade, your hand is crunched into the button, pinches the palm a little bit, but the ramp begins to raise. However, it is these creatures' turn.
Yeah.
So the creatures are going to take, they have 45 feet of movement, so no problem. They're going to climb up, one on either side of you, Gibbs. And since they are predators and they do not necessarily understand right now that Shade is a threat, they are definitely chasing you down. Gibbs.
Yeah.
These close on you. The first one, and as soon as this is really important to recognize, actually. I gotta remind myself about all these things that I homebrew. So first, this thing, as soon as the paws hit the ramp, sparks. And you recognize this metallic creature, certainly, in whatever atmosphere was outside, perhaps not conducting the same amount of electricity. Within here, there is certainly a reaction. And all of a sudden, around the limbs of this creature, you can see this crackling electricity. But the first one is going to bite you. Gibbs, that is going to... Can I balance this? Yes. That is going to be a 25 to hit.
Certainly will hit.
Alrighty. And you are going to be taking 11 points of electric damage as this bites into you and the electricity surges through your body. Go ahead and make a... Oh, actually, is this for you? No. That is all. So that is going to be the first one. The second one is going to go forward and attempt to hit you with the same attack.
Sure.
That is a natural 20. And I actually looked this up in terms of confirming criticals. Doesn't happen in Starfinder, so you don't have to do it. It's just
nice.
Pathfinder.
That.
So it means I was robbed of a critical earlier this campaign.
Yay.
But no worries.
You'll earn it back right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. This is not fun. So as the first one bites into you and lets go, kind of falling off to the side, the second one roars up and just bites into your like your shoulder and your chest. You are going to be taking 14 points of electric damage.
Oh, damn.
Who Whoa. Is that my music that just
Yeah.
stopped?
Yeah. Sirenscape must have crashed.
Don't do that. Okay.
And Shade's the closest ally.
I thought we got all dramatic a second because
Yeah, I know.
Gibbs just died.
So,
No.
as this bites and electricity crackles through you, any creatures, including them, within 5 feet, are going to be taking additional electric damage. It has an ability called Arc.
Oh.
And so, Shade, you take 1 point of damage. The creature that is not doing this critical bite takes 4 points of lightning damage. And as the lightning ripples into the body, interestingly, you see the damage that should happen seems to almost charge this creature.
Because
And the electricity.
That's the one that I had shot, right?
Yeah, kind of bends itself back a little bit. However, that is their turn. And at this point, the ramp shuts.
Yeah, not useful now.
I mean, there's
Joe.
13 to 14 more of those creatures out there.
That's
it's useful.
convenient.
However, that is their turn. That brings us to the top of the round. Shade. What do you want to do?
Damn. I think.
I think it's some proper fighting music.
How long does it take for the ramp to go up? Like, is it up
It is
after
up,
a
yeah.
turn?
So it closes in a turn is kind of what I'm saying here.
Okay. I think I would want to. Oh, but I can't use my move action and then do that. I guess I have to just shoot at it again, and
Okay.
then I'm gonna reposition myself over here. Well, I
Okay.
guess I'm gonna reposition myself over here because I have to move, and then shoot at the one that I have already hit with my combat tracking.
No
too.
problem. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
And free action, I'm going to tell Bubs,
Yeah.
go to the pilot seat, start taking off. I'm going to attempt to knock them out of the ship once we're off the ground.
So you hear your android companion say this over the comms. Did you make your attack roll?
Yes, that was a 24.
24, that hits.
That's, ooh, nice. Another 8 fire damage.
8 fire damage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep getting 6s. Except for
So
the
you pull this
5.
pistol out, you fire, and as soon as you see the metal stitch itself back together, the laser beam cuts across, leaving this burning hunk of metal. It doesn't bleed. These creatures don't seem to have any blood. You can just see almost like a solid metal being.
Like soldered.
Yeah, almost. That is your turn. That brings us to Bubs. Gibbs, you're on deck. What do you want to do, Bubs?
Bubs always listens when people tell him to do something.
Good to know. Good to fucking know.
Not always. All right.
Gibbs, go fuck yourself. Okay.
It's just he respects Shade, and he looks to him as
Senpai.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. But, so yeah, I'm gonna have my comms on. I'm probably gonna leave my comms on, and I'm just gonna run through and get to the ships and start them up.
Okay, no problem. So you run
Good thing we
forward.
practiced before.
Yeah, I know, really. Look at the timeliness of that.
Okay. Am I
you're
in the
over
seat
here.
of the ship?
Okay, so let's see.
You're here.
What is
I
our
think if I
distance?
One,
can do at
two,
least
3,
60 feet.
4, 5.
Would you have to go through that?
6.
That one's for sure. If it's that size, you'll have to go through and get an attack of opportunity.
Yeah.
That's fine. I can eat
So
that. Are you kidding
6,
me?
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You get right to the door.
I can do 60.
Yeah, that's 60. Because 12
Okay. Yeah.
12 spaces is 5 each. So
Yeah.
that's 60. So you're right at the door
Yep,
to
yep.
the cockpit.
All right, no problem. So your feet hit the metal flooring end over end.
No, I
here.
can do. It's 4 times your movement speed, right?
If you're doing a full action dash or rush
Yeah.
or whatever, I think it's 3. I thought, but I can double check.
I thought it's 4.
I think it's 4 if you have, what is it?
It's called withdraw.
You have 4 if there's an armor mod that gives you that, I think. jet boots or
Fast boots.
jet dash something.
We could just say I'm not there at the door. That's
Okay,
fine.
no worries. Yeah, and you can look it up if you want. We could fix it after. But no problem. So you run, you rush, you make it to the door. That is your turn, Bubs. Gibbs. Now sealed into the cargo bay with these two creatures and Shade. What are you doing?
A little panicky because it's kind of my fault, and there's been a lot of things that are my fault lately. So I will mind thrust the hurt one, the charged one.
Okay, sure.
And I will do it at second level. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do the hurl force disc again.
Okay, sure.
Hate it. To make its attack. It missed.
Ah, rough. So you pull off the searing and in a panic, kind of like scrambling all four limbs backwards, you throw it underhand and it just bounces harmlessly by the creature. Unfortunate. All right, Gibbs. That brings us to these creatures. So, given that Shade...
In a straight line.
I'm going to go ahead and this is but given that Shade attacked, it's going to turn... not leave base contact with you.
I attacked this one though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the one that is
That's the one I just
looking worse, but also just healed
Charged,
itself a
yeah.
little.
And it's not looking bad by
Right.
any,
No.
any
Right,
stretch
yeah,
of the
yeah.
imagination. Both are going to be attacking you, Shade. As you pull out this pistol, you fire and hurt one of them. They both turn almost as one. You don't see any eyes, but the nostrils seem to lead them. They are going to attack. The first one lunges with a bite. That is going to be a 29 to hit.
Is that KAC or EAC?
That is KAC.
Yeah, that's a hit.
That is a hit. What is your KAC?
16.
16, and I rolled a 29.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So,
I don't like that.
as this thing rushes forward, you see the sparks exploding around each paw. It leaps, and it slams into your chest and pins you to the ground. You are pinned, which means that you are prone.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Oh, do I not make a save or anything?
No, because it's a certain amount over your KAC.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this is a feature.
Okay.
So, you cannot move, you're flat-footed, and you take the same penalties as grappled.
Okay.
Except the penalties are -4. So, this creature on top of you, you can now see into the metal mouth, 3 rows of jaws going back as it just snaps. You put out your metallic hands, holding on to the sides of its jaws, but this thing bearing down on you. The second one, I believe, is going to automatically crit as long as it hits, because you are prone. Or flat-footed or whatever. Actually, that does matter. Hang on.
You take a -4 penalty to melee attacks if you're prone.
Okay, yeah. So you're not prone. You were pinned. That's different. Alrighty. So no big deal. Although that's definitely gonna hit. That is a 33.
How much damage did I take from the pin?
I didn't roll it. Good.
Oh, damn it.
Thanks for that. You are going to take 13 points of electric damage.
Okay.
The second one, biting you on the ground, is going to deal 14 points of electric damage.
Ouch.
Both of these things biting in. And at this point now, Gibbs, you turn around, one biting each of Shade's arms, almost trying to tear him in half. You hear this as it tries to like yank the metal off of Shade. You see the teeth sparking off. And Shade, as they end their turn within 5 feet of you,
I'm also taking arc damage, aren't I?
you're not taking arc damage.
Oh, I'm taking something worse.
No, it's not really worse. But as long as you are within 5 feet at the end of their turn, you're just taking an additional D4 of electric damage for each of them.
Oh.
So that is 3 and 4 electric damage.
my God.
That's rough, actually.
What
Never
the
mind.
fuck?
So, as they are pulling you apart, trying to rip your arms from the sockets, electricity ripples down their jaws and across your body. This piezoelectric reaction. That is their turn, however. That brings us to the top of the round. Shade.
Cool. Great. So I'm going to use my move action
These
to
creatures like tearing you in half.
activate my versatile focus. Not my versatile focus. My versatile fighting using my ground fighting, which means that the normal penalties to attack rolls from being grappled, pinned, and prone don't apply to your unarmed attacks.
Fantastic.
The penalties from the pinned condition don't apply to your attempts to grapple your opponent or free yourself. So, given that, I'm going to try to free myself.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I think I have to free myself before I start attacking more, because I'm gonna get wrecked. Oh boy. Oh,
Where'd it go?
it's over there.
Oh. Into the darkness.
The void of space.
Yeah, really.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. Phenomenal. Okay. So, no problem. As these creatures try to bite you, for a moment you are able to find your feet on the ground. You have those jump jets installed, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of
Access
let
my
this little-
ground fighting module.
Yeah, you
Fucking-
let this little kick off and it pulls them both off the ground. One of them next to you kind of drops. You can see smelling around, unable to see you. The other one clings on for just a moment. You actually have to like shake it off. But they both hit the ground. You land. What do you want to do?
That's my action and move action, so I think I'm stuck now. I'm
No
about
quick
to get-
actions?
Quick action, say, PS.
All right, a little bit comes out. That is your turn. That brings us to Bubs.
Okay, so I'm gonna open the door and get in the seat.
Okay.
And I'm gonna first say to myself, okay, and I'm still on comms.
Yeah,
while
oh,
I'm
yeah,
doing
yeah.
this.
Okay, Bubs, you practice for this. You can do this. You have the hours on your sheet. Okay, check your mirrors. Okay, cameras. Adjust the seat.
I push the seat forward. Seatbelts. I buckle my seat. I also buckle the other seats around me.
You see in the little lights around the ship, just ding, all the seatbelt lights go on.
For the first time,
Yeah,
probably ever.
this is the only time in the history of you guys using this ship that somebody is using all of the full takeoff procedures that you know of. You guys don't even really know how the ship works necessarily, having not really spent a lot of time on it.
I do.
You know how it works in terms of like piloting and stuff. You don't know intimately the systems of the ship. Nobody's really looked at the
I
ship.
spent like a whole day doing that.
Yeah, it's a whole day. It's
Yeah,
an
it's like a
entire
day.
spaceship.
It's like a day.
But okay, so
Okay, and 10 and 2, and I like grasp the steering wheel. And okay, Bubs, you can do this, and I'm like shaking. Okay, easy does it. And I is it like a lever or is it a gas pedal?
to start the ship,
Yeah.
it's like a lever. Yeah. you
Okay,
push
so I
forward.
start the lever.
Thruster.
Okay, guys, here we go.
And I start it up.
So you feel the ship slowly lift off faster than you thought. Not really gravity here. And as you begin to pull away, 30 feet, 40 feet, and the grass shrinks beneath you and you fall into the drift behind, you see these metallic shapes jump. And on their turn, you would imagine, because of the low gravity, they're still going to attempt to attack the ship from the outside. But we'll get back to that. Bubs, aside from piloting the ship out, are you saying anything over the comms?
Guys, I think I'm doing it right. There is some difficulty with this. I mean, I'm doing my best, but should I keep flying?
Yes!
You can hear Gibbs shout out, and then as this like battle rages behind you. But all right, Bubs, that's your turn.
Yep.
That brings us to Gibbs. What do you want to do?
Are you badly injured?
Yes, but just stamina.
That's not badly injured.
Yeah.
Great. Then I will attack the one that we've been attacking,
absolutely.
and I'm going to ask you to make a will saving throw as long as it's a creature with an intelligence score.
It does have an intelligence score. Is there a minimum or a maximum?
Nope, just it needs to have one at least in order for the spell to work.
That's not great. You said wisdom?
Yes, and it's first level, so my DC
That's
because
8.
it is much higher than 8. It's
Yeah.
It's 16 for first level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Then I mind thrust it. I find the most vulnerable portion and overload it with information, and we'll do some damage to it.
Okay. So go ahead and roll damage.
4 plus 3 is 7. 7 damage.
7 damage. All right. Oops. Try erase for damage. That's pretty good. So as you reach out with your brain and thrust forward, it's so easy. As you link minds with it, it is this overwhelming sensation of darkness and vivid smells that for you, Gibbs, are delicious. You smell like earth and
Rotting meats.
I smell myself in it, and I'm like, damn, I smell good.
earth, elements of dung, like just all kind of earthy, loamy smells. And you suddenly are aware a creature that smells is much easier to overwhelm. You take everything that you've ever smelled off your physical being and jam it into this creature's mind. All at once, they can smell Rat King as you remembered it before, and Rat King as it smells fresh now. And those two turning ideas of what smell can and should be seem to pull at the creature's mind. Snaps out like the air. It lets go of Shade's arm and begins to try to bite at things that are not there. Certainly harmful to it. And its thoughts are muddled. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Alrighty. Gibbs, that brings us to the creature's turn. So first, Bubs. Give me a second here. Wow.
Do you see Olive wants us not to kill it and it become a pet?
You
kidding
try
me?
not
Yeah.
killing it while you're sleeping in the fucking bunk beds.
You can see 3 of these creatures leap off. One of them just hurling end over end by your ship and into the nothingness of the drift. The second one, clang, kind of bouncing off and going off into the drift. You hear, and then you hear like sparking, and one now climbing on the outside of the ship proper. You hear this kind of like almost like a head banging sound. This creature trying to get in. However, that is the exterior ones, the interior creatures. So the one that's mind thrust, it needs to do something, correct?
No. It just takes the damage and just eats damage.
Okay. Shade, they're going to keep attacking you. They don't necessarily know that comes from Gibbs. You are taking 2 more attacks as these creatures. First, that is going to be a 20.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay, 23 definitely hits. That is going to be 11 points of electric damage.
Damn.
The second one is going to be a 27 to hit.
That hits.
Is going to be a further. Oh, that's cocked. Ooh. That is going to be a further 14 points of electric
Oh my
damage.
god, are you
Yeah,
kidding
that's
me?
max damage.
Damn, I'm close to dying.
They bite into you again and again, tearing elements away. And at the end of their turn, you're taking an additional.
Oh fuck, I might die.
How did you fly the ship?
3 points of electric damage as the passive electricity continues to crawl across you and them. You can see the one that is still fairly damaged suddenly begins to look just a little bit better. Having them connected to you, to this metal object, maybe not the best thing. However, that is their turn. That brings us to the top of the round, and that is you, Shade.
Oh boy.
Your physical body, a conductor of electricity. These 2 creatures, every time they both bite onto one of your arms, is a massive jolt of electricity through your body. You can smell not just the organic bits of your body beginning to crisp and fry. You can smell silicone and silver begin to melt and burn. Your interior components beginning to break down. What are you doing?
Damn.
Olive says steel types are weak to electric types.
Actually, they aren't, are they?
I don't
I
know.
don't think they are. I think they're weak to fire.
Anyways, you are certainly weak to
I'm
these.
definitely gonna get fucked by this. Damn. I think I think I might need to tactical retreat here. Can I pop into the shower right here
Yeah, you certainly can.
Is this like just a glass door?
No. This
steel?
is a steel door. It's not quite as strong as a bulkhead.
Okay.
But yeah, it's designed to be watertight in space. It has to be relatively sturdy.
Yeah. I think I would like tactical retreat into that, so I can like.
That is going to provoke attacks of opportunity.
But like if I attack him with my gun, that's also going to provoke attacks of opportunity. Because ranged attacks provoke attacks of opportunity. So like, yeah. So, it's like fucked either way.
What you doing?
I think I'm trying to tactical retreat so I can get at least a better position.
Okay.
If I don't get killed here, which I'm gonna get killed.
You actually might get a miss here. 18?
Nope, I'm dead.
No, 18 is to hit.
Yeah, I'm dead though.
Only one.
You can roll the health or the damage, but I'm probably dead.
I would imagine they have a pretty high minimum, and this is what this is. That's 11 points of electric damage.
Withdraw?
Yeah, you don't take a attack. It's like
Are you withdrawing?
disengage.
Yeah, I guess I would.
Oh,
withdraw.
okay. Very different then.
Yeah.
We're learning Starfinder, everybody. So as you withdraw, you can see everything going terribly. You feel the electricity coursing through your circuits. You sink to one knee, and as the creatures lunge for you to bite you again, you put one foot out and like corkscrew Iron Man blast your way with the retro thrusters. Out you slam into the toilet. Your hit hits the edge. You hear like a flush. You slam the door shut in front of you. You are in the bathroom.
Great. I'm not looking great though, so that's it though. That's my. Well, does that count as my action?
It's a
and
full
my move
action.
Okay, so yeah, it's a full
Yeah.
action, so I can't.
I just looked this up. I thought withdraw and run were like the same exact thing.
But
No,
withdrawing, how much do I get my full
You get
movement?
double your speed.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
different because I think the full movement is triple your speed.
Okay, so then I would strategically go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wake the fuck up. 10, 11, 12. Because double the movement speed.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
so I would flank on the other side.
Sure. So you you like open the bathroom door. You can see the toilet ruined. Like Vess has been in here. You're like,
Don't.
nope, shut the door. You're like, I'd rather die. You run across the cargo bay. In the middle of this fight, you have to like slide underneath an attack from one of these creatures. Lashes out. You run over by that Spice over there.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, wake the fuck up. Spice's eyes open, and you take cover behind this doorway. No problem. Looking through it into the cargo bay around it.
Is
That
this
your
a
turn.
wall?
No.
That's not a wall.
It's a
That's
half
like-
wall, so you can see over it.
You can see
Yeah,
over it.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So, no problem. That is your turn. Shade, Bubs, what would you like to do?
So I can tell there's one on the ship, right?
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Guys, I think we have one on top of the ship. Oh, yeah, we definitely have one on top of the ship.
Dual barrel roll.
Put it on autopilot.
You could probably.
I don't know. Or barrel roll. Barrel roll's a better idea. I don't know.
I don't know if you can do a barrel roll.
Okay, think, Bubs. Oh God, this wasn't in the student driver handbook. Okay,
And I'm just going to. What speed is it at now? The ship.
The ship, I mean, it's going, so it's moving at its full speed. I believe you can move a quarter your speed, something like that.
Okay. I'm going to. I guess since someone said do a barrel roll, I'm going
It's
to.
half
just,
your normal speed if you're gliding, which
Okay,
is
there you
the
go, yeah.
no pilot
So
action.
half your normal
I
speed.
think I'm just going to try to do a barrel roll, whatever that
Phenomenal.
means.
Make a piloting check. So as you
That's a
pull
maneuver.
away from this land, go ahead and make a piloting check.
Okay.
Piloting is a skill.
5 plus 3,
boy.
8.
8. Okay. So you hear do a barrel roll, and you're like, all right. You slam the sticks to the side, and as you do, the ship responds quite aptly. It goes end over end. You hear the scraping stop, and as your viewport goes almost like it's rolling down a hill, you see this little silver object off and into space.
Nice.
You certainly lost it. However, you see now the grass looming up in your viewpoint, and you get ready. You imagine on your next turn, there's almost no way that you are not going to impact the ground. That is not an ideal situation. For all of you, too, who can see through the viewports on the side, you see suddenly just golden light streaming in, this sourceless light hitting inside.
You're never going to let Bubs drive again.
That is Bub's turn. That brings us to you, Gibbs. What do you want to do? You feel the whole craft throw into like a violent spin and then kind of even out, although your danger sense is certainly going off. You see the light. You understand. You are not as far away as you should be from the hunk of land in the drift.
I press the button to open the hatch.
Really?
Yep.
I love this.
And I'm going to spend my turn casting Token Spell.
No, you're not. You're going to make a strength saving throw. You're opening a hatch into the vacuum of space.
As we're crashing, it's fine. Sure.
But
Isn't there a vacuum
isn't it
in this
controlled?
place?
There is atmosphere here. You are not close enough that the atmosphere is going to affect. There's like 30 feet of atmosphere.
You can't lower the bay door. Because isn't it just like an electronic?
So where
He's saying, like-
where Gibbs is? This is
Oh,
the
you're
ramp.
just trying to like.
Yes.
You're just trying to like
vacuuming
force
them
it.
out.
No, I'm gonna.
You have to run over to the here to turn.
No,
it
because
off.
I was there. I haven't moved.
Oh yeah, because you've
Okay,
been
yeah.
slamming it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so you
So
are over.
That's
here.
more just like I think the model's been sliding as we move things around. Yeah.
Well, but I'm definitely within their range.
Yeah.
right.
Or maybe not this one. Oh, fine. Not that one then.
Yeah, that's the one that's
Okay.
mostly been dealing with shade. So yeah, no problem. You can open that. I need you to make a strength saving throw. As you do, and this begins to open up, the vacuum of space begins to suck everything
Okay, well that
out.
wasn't my intention.
That's
Well, you have
okay.
your suit on, right?
That was my intention.
But I'm not good at strength. If I had known, I would have done
Yeah, but if
this.
you go into space, you'll still have your suit, though.
Either way, make a strength saving throw because you press that button.
19.
Nice.
Okay.
Well, my strength is -2.
Ooh.
Okay, so 17.
So 17 to be perfectly earnest.
Okay, that's still good. So you watch Gibbs like falls back, seeing Shade get like shredded and then running. You look over and you see this glowing red button. Your hand becomes a fist and you slam on the button. There is this loud alarm and the ramp begins to descend. Almost immediately, the strong vacuum begins to pull. The one closest to you, the one that is least hurt, out and into the space.
Nice.
You see, for you, Bubs, as you brace yourself because you see the land coming towards you, you see this one creature out and then like off the land. It skids a solid like 60 feet. That is a lot of momentum, and then just off and into the drift. But absolutely, that is a phenomenal move.
Nice.
Oxygen is beginning to
was
be
not my
pulled
intention.
out, and so at some point,
That's what I was hoping we would do.
at some point,
Yeah.
you will run into a problem where there is not enough oxygen.
Even in my spacesuit?
In your spacesuit, you'll be fine, but this is like a larger problem. This is like a
Everyone will die.
yeah,
Not everyone.
just most.
And that was an action to open the hatch.
That was that can be a quick action to open the hatch. You were standing right there. You're just punching
Okay.
a button.
So I have a full action left, essentially.
Yes.
Great.
You don't have a full action.
Move
God
and
damn
action.
it.
Move and standard action.
Yes.
You are not touchable. I can't help you.
That's okay. I'm behind a door right now.
I
And I'm
like
still
to heal
up.
you. That's
I'm
all.
still up.
Fine. Then I'm gonna do nothing except look for Shade.
You can attack it? No?
Oh, I guess I could have attacked it. Oh, fine. I'll attack it. I'll mind thrust it. Can I get a will save?
You absolutely can. So this one, already recovering from the last will save, that's a 12.
Oh, way lower than my DC. 16. Not way lower, but 5 damage.
5 damage. Okay. And again now, this thing you can see on the metal carapace itself, these rents that have slightly healed back together and then been opened even further. Creature's starting to look a little hurt, although it's kind of hovered around this area for a while.
I'll spend my move action bracing myself, like, as best as I can, realizing the multitude of choices I could have made to not get in this situation, but now here I am, and am very much at threat of falling out this hatch.
And as you end your turn within 5 feet of this electrical creature, you don't take any additional damage. This vacuum taking away the ability of it to generate electricity by having the metal rub against the metal of your ship. So for what it's worth, the vacuum helping you out a little bit.
Nice. Feeling proud of myself again.
However, it is its turn.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. I'm good.
This creature is going to go ahead and take a big bite out of you.
Sure.
So it's coming over this way now?
Yeah.
Yes, that is a 25 to
That'll
hit.
hit.
And you are going to be taking...
And it's just chilling right by the open airlock?
It's not chilling.
Well,
this thing is
like,
low to the ground,
like
claws
clawed.
dug into the
Okay.
metal, but it's still attacking Gibbs. That is going to be, I said, 14 points of electrical damage.
Okay.
And additionally, what is your KAC?
13.
Okay. You feel your garments grabbed by this creature, and you can feel underneath the lips of it the other two sets of jaws gnashing at it. It kind of has you grabbed. You are considered grappled.
It's gonna take me with it. We
We
both don't hang on. Okay.
That is going to be its turn. That brings us to the top of the round. So the ship. The ship is moving, and as you finish your barrel roll, Bubs, you see the land loom up 30 feet, 20 feet, 10 feet. And even as you pull up, you can't help but dig in, almost like you're skipping a stone off the ocean. Everybody go ahead and make a strength, or what's it called? Not strength saving throw, a reflex saving throw.
Okay.
I take a -2 penalty to reflex saves.
I take a +2 bonus to reflex saves. Okay.
Fail. I got 3 and it's -2, so
Ooh.
I got a 10.
I got 24.
24. So interestingly, as this happens, it lists over, the light hits from the viewport all across. You recognize immediately what's going to happen with your piloting experience. You grab onto whatever you can find around you as
In the door frame.
as the ship slams into the ground. The shields take 6 points. The aft shields take 6 points of damage as it scrapes along the earth. Everybody else, you see Spice, who's just swinging out of bed, leveled against the steel. Everybody, with the exception of Shade, including this creature, are prone. You guys all leveled against the ground, and then the ship bounces up, and suddenly now you are flying feet above this grass. Some of the grass actually scraping against the bottom of the ship. Bubs, you look down, and you are in the field. You see like a rock column going up, and you have to to the side, but you are really close. But you see the darkness of space beyond you, and as you continue to move on your turn, you would imagine you'll clear the land. Mm-hmm. However, Shade, it is your turn.
I'm gonna come back through here for my surprise attack. Wah! Oh, that door's not opening, so wah!
Yeah, I think I spray painted some of the doors shut, unfortunately. I have to
you just gotta like
yeah,
squiggle.
no, I'll do
Is Gibbs pinned, or are they both prone? So like,
grab-
So now they're both prone. You can see the creature is grabbing onto Gibbs's clothing, which is like the vest is like the only thing that's really keeping it from being yanked out of the doorway.
okay.
But they're both like, Gibbs is like on one knee, clinging to this console to stay on.
Okay. Can I move action, take out my gravity gun, and try to push this thing out?
Yeah, you
away?
certainly can. Go ahead and make an attack roll. I love that.
That's risky.
Gibbs will join her new people.
Yeah, I know.
No, because I got it planned out.
Okay, you got
We're close to the ground. I got a plan. Ooh, that's a
Tell me more about your plan.
28.
Oh,
28 certainly hits, yeah. So this creature shoved 10 feet forward, and from where you're angled at, that knocks it right down the ramp. Make a strength saving throw.
which penalty do I take? The prone one or the prone one?
Whichever is the least effective.
Well, am I still grappled, I guess? 'Cause...
No, you were not grappled. You're just...
Okay, so then I am prone, so I'll take the prone one.
Ooh.
7 minus 4, because I'm prone, is
Okay.
3 minus 2, because I'm weak.
No problem. You watch as you fire the gravity gun, and this creature launched 10 feet, yanks Gibbs. Gibbs' arms release the console, and the two of them fired out the ship.
We got this.
Here, we'll do it
Right
to me
out.
too.
And all of a sudden, the two of you technically no longer have any hostiles aboard. For you, Gibbs, go ahead and roll a 100-sided die. This is important.
100-sided die?
Yeah, this is important.
Sorry, I'm looking for my...
If we're out of combat, can I start running to the door?
Yeah, immediately as this happens, you start running over to the door.
2. I got a 0, 0, and a 2.
Okay.
So it's either... Yeah, it's 2. Yeah. Oh, wait. That's probably not good.
You look out the door, and all you see is Gibbs and this creature spiraling towards the clouds that make up the borders of the drift. And you know things impacting with that generally aren't ever seen again.
Oh, shit.
Maybe 200 feet away, and they're like spiraling end over end. This is like the scene from Gravity, where you cannot stop because there is no atmosphere this far out from this chunk of rock. So that is occurring. That is your turn, Shade. Bubs. You guys are still in initiative order here. So, Bubs, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna try to get the ship back up into the air.
Okay. Go ahead and make a piloting check.
Could I press autopilot? Could that do it?
Yeah, you can.
You can
go
press
on
autopilot, but I mean,
It just
It takes a while
It's-
to kick
no,
in.
it's
or
just-
something?
it's not. It's just
Glide.
gonna go.
it just has glide.
Yeah.
It's probably
So-
better to pilot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I figured. Yeah. All right, here we go. Oh no, 1. Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
So at this point, you just above the tops of this, you're trying to figure out, okay, like how do I manage to pull up and away without slamming the back of the ship against the ground? And you're like, of course, if I just kill the engines, I can use the momentum and then just angle and burst upwards. You kill the engines. For all of you in the midst of this fight, the ever-present hum of these engines just dies. And for you in particular, Shade, so attuned to this machine as you are now, you kind of turn and you're like, what? Everybody make a strength saving throw. This is a -4 modifier. Not you.
Okay.
Strength saving throw -4.
Yep.
Oh, -4 for everyone?
Yep.
Okay.
Fortitude saving throw.
Strength.
Strength saving throw.
Yep.
There's only reflex,
Sorry,
fortitude, and
sorry.
will.
Fortitude. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
that's why I was like,
My fault.
wait a second. So it's -4.
Yes.
Okay. 11.
11.
6. 9.
9. Okay. So the two of you slammed prone as the ship hits hard. The first time it was almost like you were bouncing a stone off the ocean. This time it's like you're dropping it into a lake. It slams in, digs into the earth. You see little bits of fire catching the wheat around you. This looks very much like, you're going 88 miles an hour through the wheat field, leaving a burning trail behind. You hear this horrible scrape.
Because I have my ground fighting up, do I have the bonus to not be knocked prone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you do.
Let me see what that.
The ship shields and probably some of the hull are taking 25 points of damage
Oh, never mind.
as you slam it into the earth. The engines kick back on and you just sort of scrape an additional 20 feet. You can now see the edge of the land, maybe 10 feet in front of you. You see space beyond. You hear the as all the oxygen still being sucked out of this. Warning sirens going off. You are not in the best situation. However, Bubs, that is your turn. Gibbs.
Am I entangled with this beastie?
You are, yes. He is still biting onto you. So what are you doing? You are end over end flying out into space.
You can just hear. Hang on, actually, I have a sound effect for this. You can actually just hear the sound of your own breathing rapidly as you panic, falling through space.
I know objects in motion stay in motion unless acted upon by another force. So I do what Gibbs does best. I reach for my jar and shake it, and I want to champagne bottle break the momentum, spending my resolve point to cast my spell.
Okay.
To try and slow me and this thing down a little. And healing myself in the process.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Make a reflex saving throw.
Sure. 11, but reflex is +2. Oh, I wish it was will. Just kidding. So 13.
13. You shake this bottle, and it's tough. You have to grab with one arm and try your hardest to shake with no real appreciable way to generate momentum. The creature grabs onto you. You can't hear it growling in space, but it's pulling and pulling. It's hard. But you uncork the bottle, and there is this brief, and then you see just like droplets in space, and it shifts you a little bit, but still kind of spiraling end over end. A little slower.
I heal more now, just FYI.
Excellent. So, that is your turn.
Yeah, it's a full action for me to do that.
Alrighty. That brings us to these creatures. And this creature, with its grip on you, it's smart enough, probably.
Can this thing breathe in space?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
It's a metal thing.
It's
Oh, this stupid metal Pokemon.
can't do magnetism this far away. It's going to let go of you, first of all.
Yes.
It's going to use its full action to kind of reorient itself using the long limbs to kind of... You see these pulses happen and the plates seem to shift. Not huge plates like you thought, tons of tiny little pieces. And some element of this discharging electricity, it's able to right itself, slow its momentum. You are now 5 feet away from it. That is its turn. It's in space. Shade, what do you want to do?
Jumping out. How far away is Gibbs at this
Gibbs?
point?
Well, since you, what is the ship's movement speed? Half speed.
Half speed is, I think, 15. Let me see. All of the dry erased.
Gibbs is somewhere between 80 and 120 feet away.
Oh,
at
yeah.
this point, because the ship is moving. You know.
Okay.
You're not gonna.
But we've also cut the engines, so it's stopped, right?
There's still momentum, probably.
There's still
There's
momentum.
still
You guys are
momentum,
kind of barreling along until you break the atmosphere, and then you're gonna just keep going.
Yeah, I think I gotta jump after Gibbs. I feel pretty responsible for this.
Glad you do, because I don't. No, kidding.
Yeah, I'm jumping after Gibbs.
Okay, yeah.
Which I think.
Are you gonna tether yourself to something?
So interestingly, as you leap into space, the ship behind you, you recognize your jump jets. You're
Yeah.
able to direct yourself a lot better than you normally would be able to.
Yeah, so that's what I'm hoping I can do. Is I'm gonna try to get as close as I can. I know what my movement is in 0G.
So just like with the jump jets, your movement becomes flight.
right, okay.
The only difference is because your momentum is just going to carry you in that direction.
right,
at
but
the
I
end.
can like adjust with my jump jets.
Correct. So it's basically you can point yourself and fire.
Okay. So yeah, I would point myself towards Gibbs and fire.
So full movement or full action.
Full action would be 4 times my
I
movement
believe
speed.
it's 3.
It's
Dan, did you look
4.
that up?
It's 4.
Yeah,
here.
I looked
Okay,
it
so
up,
four.
yeah.
4.
So I think I would be able to get to
You'd
Gibbs.
literally just be able to get to Gibbs.
Yeah. So I think I would go and grab Gibbs and
Okay.
like just thrust to like.
So
You
as
had those boots.
Bub slams down into the ground, you are almost like knocked out, and you take this moment to make a split decision. You take the momentum and take a couple more steps down the ramp before, like Iron Manning yourself off and into space. You close your arms, even though you aren't within the atmosphere. Your instinct is to make yourself small and narrow, and you take off like a bullet. Gibbs, over the sound of your rapid breathing, which I'm going to turn down just a
Thanks.
little bit.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You can suddenly see, as you're like
and
still
roll.
spinning a little bit slower, the creature a little bit further beyond, suddenly this like pinpoint of light, and then Shade streaking towards you. Yeah, Shade, you make it right to where Gibbs is, basically almost colliding with her. But no problem. You make it to her in your turn. That is your turn. That brings us to you, Bubs. You are now alone. You turn Spice unconscious on the ground. The impact of that slam knocking her out. The bathroom door is still locked, so you imagine
thank
Vess,
God.
Vess currently
That's
out.
ran back, but then it's in the he's like in the porta potty and it's falling down the hill.
And you guys enter into zero gravity with like poop everywhere. Anyways, at the moment you are basically alone in the ship. What are you doing?
The ship still has momentum, right?
Yeah,
We can free action comm chatter, right?
to an extent.
Okay. Like keep the ship close.
Yeah, I'm still on comms because I sometimes forget to just turn my comms off.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. I turn it back on.
And I'm gonna turn the ship back on
Okay.
and try to stop the momentum of the ship from like crashing into anything else.
Okay, make a piloting check. Okay. You basically forcefully stalled your ship and are now trying to kick it back up and like reverse your momentum. So this is a real maneuver. You can do this in a plane. It's hard.
Okay.
You can do it in piloting too. There's a one that like
It's a barrel.
180. There's barrel roll. There's another one. I forget
aerial.
what it's called.
Aerial is what everybody thinks a barrel roll is. And then a
No,
barrel
but I
is-
mean like in the Starfinder.
Oh,
You can go
gotcha,
180,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
An
like
8.
a 180.
An 8?
Yeah.
Okay. You throw on as
engine
hard
light.
as you can. You hit the accelerator, and the ship roars to life. It begins to take off, and suddenly you're in the darkness of space. You can see these big clouds of interstellar particulates and things. You look back in the viewport. You can see like the land fading behind you. You turn. You cannot see Shade. You cannot see Gibbs. All you see is the gold and the darkness of space.
Guys, where are you guys?
Do we hear him on
No,
comms?
no. This is out of comms range at this point. You guys just have regular comms. So, you hear nothing back, Bubs. That is your turn.
I'm gonna put it on autopilot and
Okay.
I'm going to probably go over to where I last saw my friends.
Yeah.
And try to figure out what went on.
You throw it on autopilot. You run through the first couple doors, and as you get into the cargo bay, you just see now relatively still as the air in the cargo bay has been vented. You just see the open bay and then the retreating land behind you.
Do I know how much like run we have in terms of being in this atmosphere? Like, are we gonna eventually go out into space?
You are out of it.
Okay.
Yeah, you are probably like a good 50 feet out of it at this point.
Okay, so I should probably close the hatch.
What
No,
are you
I don't
doing?
want to. I don't want to close the hatch because I want them to get back in. I think I'm just going to try to find something to like anchor myself to, like maybe like some bed sheets or something,
Okay.
and tie it around myself, and just try to like look out and see if I can see something.
Okay, so you begin to run back towards the beds. You step over Spice's body. You begin to get that ready. That is your turn.
Yeah.
That brings us over to Gibbs.
Like Mary Jane reaches towards Spider-Man, Gibbs frantically clawing at Shade until we touch.
Yeah.
And I then, the second we brush hands, will cast Healing Channel on you.
Oh yay!
Nice.
And give you 8 plus 8.
Okay.
7 and 1, 7 and 1. So 16
Nice.
hit points only.
That's good because I needed those.
There's
then
a
try to-
jolt through you. Yeah.
Nuzzle into your arms.
Like
Yeah.
Tuck
Gibbs,
and roll.
Scampers in. As you tuck and roll, you are maybe like 100 feet away from the edges, the ragged edge of this gaseous cloud. You can see, for the first time being out of a ship and this close to it, there is little crackles
of energy behind, and you see vague movement, and you can see all kinds of chaos and improbability that is making up the substance of this space. You do not want to collide with it, and you are approaching rapidly. So that is your turn, Gibbs.
I'm gonna look up at Shade and just say, I'm sorry.
I'm not saying anything at
That's
this
fine.
point. I'm focused on not dying for
There you
us.
go. That brings us to the creatures round. They do stuff in space. That's a D12. Ooh, one of them does good stuff in space. Okay, we'll get back to that. All right, so that brings us to the top of the round. Shade. You now holding Gibbs in your arms, hurtling towards the edge of space. What are you doing?
I want to reposition myself
Okay,
so that I can thruster jump jet away
no problem.
from the endless abyss of
Full action
chaos.
or full action move?
I think so. Yeah, I think I just want to get us back as close to the ship. Well, if I full action towards the ship, do I see, like, turning and repositioning myself, I see the ship.
Yeah.
Is it, like, within range for me to jump jet, at least, like,
Most of the way back.
most of the
yeah.
way back, so
Yeah.
that I'm not just, like, jump jet into the other direction and now we're floating off into,
It's like 60
different
feet.
space?
You can get within 60 feet of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
as
I'm
soon
gonna
as
do
you
the
hear
jump jet.
squeaking out from Gibbs, I'm sorry, and you just kind of hold tighter and take off in that direction.
Yeah. Just scoop-a-doop and jump jet back towards the ship.
No problem. You begin to close the ship. That is your turn, Shade. Bubs, what are you doing now?
Okay, so you said there's a virtual intelligence on the ship, correct?
Supposedly, you guys haven't really interacted with it, but yeah.
I remember Peep telling us that, so I'm just going to say,
Virtual intelligence! Can you hear me?
You just hear a little ding.
The Alexa behind you.
Hi!
tell a joke.
Slow ship down to 20% speed.
You hear suddenly over the PA a voice that you've never heard before. Ship slowing to 20% speed. And you just hear as the engines begin to cut a little bit.
Didn't you fuck the ship?
What?
I
No!
thought you like connected with it.
I tried to figure everything out about it via, like
Put your dog in it.
uploading my exocortex to
The
it.
ship slows.
He attached his USB.
It's not sexual.
Are you doing anything else?
Yeah, I'm gonna have like my
It's a
My,
beautiful
like,
part of
little-
android nature.
like towel, or not towel, but like blanket, like
Harness.
rope, harness that I made, and I'm going to get close to the door.
Sure.
And how open is the door right now?
Right now, it's all the way open.
It's all okay. It's already
Yeah.
open. So I am going to just be ready,
Comfy.
and like close to the control panels, and like I'm harnessing myself so I can like not fall in myself.
Yeah,
And just get ready to close it as soon as they get in.
no problem. So you tie the other end of the bed sheets around the console.
Yeah.
You get yourself as close as you can. You can see Shade like flying towards the ramp. No problem. Gibbs, what do you want to do? You now in Shade's arms, you look up, you can see the silhouette of Bub's shiny head behind with the lights kind of striking from back. You see the ship slowing a little bit. You feel almost home.
I guess not wanting to be silly in the comfort, is there any immediate danger, like impending, of things besides movement?
As you get closer and closer to the ship, you look around, and for the first time, you don't see any of these creatures. You don't see sparks of electricity. You don't see the glint of metal closing.
And then I'll pump another healing channel into Shade.
There you go. Okay.
4 plus 8 is
12?
12.
Shade, as the doors draw closer and closer, you see Bubs, and you feel
better. Almost as if not hurtling through the blackness of space is a good thing.
This is a good hug.
And you land, your boots kind of magnetizing to the elements of the deck. You climb up holding Gibbs. Bubs, you're able to close the door behind them.
Nice.
And this ramp shuts. Finally, you hear this little ding, and all of you overhead hear the as oxygen begins to repopulate this cargo hold.
Damn.
But you guys are all safe aboard. And for this moment, at least, you feel relatively...
This is the worst recon
safe.
ever.
Yeah, geez. I never in my life... I was like,
We
okay.
bring danger to ourselves.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to put something so clearly dangerous. It is gold in the dark.
Well,
And
could have
but
been
that
a
was
It
like...
was butterflies.
Yeah, you put stuff in front of us like that, and we're like, that looks like a thing that has things on it that we should look at and interact with for fun.
There was definitely like maybe some kind of like treads of like a vehicle.
Oh, there was
there.
stuff there.
So
yeah,
we're
for
thinking
sure.
like, oh, maybe we need to help someone or something.
No, like
No,
Gibbs was
I was-
thinking none
Gibbs
of
was thinking
that.
butterflies.
The
Yeah.
Gibbs was thinking butterflies.
So anyways, all of you now drift in the darkness of space, autopilot carrying you gently forward. And because it is 9:50, very, very late session, this is where we're going to end for the evening. So you guys survived. What was supposed to happen, I thought you guys were just going to fly right by it. Maybe you had to get close just to
Well,
get
that's
to the
what
other side.
Shade would have done.
And then
but
these
something-
creatures were going to launch themselves off and try to like dock. They're going to have to tear it through. But you guys are like, no, come on. Let's
Well,
just
we
come
were
on
just
aboard.
having a
It was a
conversation in our
shade-
group text about
yeah.
pets, and I was like, "This is a great opportunity to get."
When
a
that
butterfly.
came out in the group text, I was like, oh, I wonder if they're going to figure out a way to like tame one of these creatures.
Yeah,
But-
probably not. Those
Probably.
things
You
are.
could have fed electricity from your body.
I
Thank
did.
you guys very much
A
for hanging out
lot.
with us for this session of Starfinder, session 11. Next week, everybody's going to be back, I believe. So hopefully we'll have Olive back with us. We really hope you're feeling better, Olive. I know it's been
Miss
a
you.
rough couple weeks. But hopefully we'll be back for session 12. If you want some more RPG action, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, tune in to Adventures in Alberon, our 5th edition sweeping epic fantasy campaign, session 107 tomorrow. More than 4 years in the making. We're going to have everybody at the table for that as well. So,
Nice.
Dan, I believe you were chosen to sign us
Oh,
off, so
wow.
go ahead.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We had a lot of fun moments today. Be sure to, like Joey said, check out tomorrow's show. Stay frosty, guys. Don't go into the vacuum of space.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.